Our journey around the world to crown a champion is going to start in a few moments' time. Green flag at the back. Formula One in 2024 begins when the 5 red lights go out. The new season is underway, and it's a good reaction time for Max Verstappen. Little bit of a wiggle when he applied the power for the second part of the start, but he maintains the lead. Charles Leclerc trying to go around the outside. How brave is he feeling? He's not. He's in second place, and it's Sergio Perez who finds himself in fourth. George Russell is in third place. The spinner was Lance Stroll in the background for Aston Martin. It's Max Verstappen with the lead. Who will be second? There's damage to one of the Saubers in the background there, falling to the back of the field. I believe it's Valtteri Bottas. Side by side, the two McLarens go. Verstappen, then Leclerc, Russell being harried, and it's Lando Norris who was ahead of his teammate. So that's Hülkenberg is cleared, and then they're going to have contact.
Oh, that's all on Hülkenberg, isn't it? Just drifted into the back and completely rear-ended Stroll.
Great getaway from Valtteri. There you can see Hülkenberg, and I think, does he touch the back of Hülkenberg as well?
That is a pass for position. That is Lando Norris getting past Fernando Alonso. Alonso pleasantly surprised yesterday that the green Aston Martin was quick over one lap, but he was worried. This is George Russell trying to go all the way around the outside and get past Charles Leclerc, and he'll do so. What a way to start your season, George Russell, with a fine move.
The McLarens have steadily passed Fernando Alonso. Lando did it a while ago. This is Oscar Piastri sneaking up the inside on the previous lap.
He draws alongside the Scarlet Ferrari. Leclerc has been driving on his mirrors time and time and time again. And to the inside, car 11 at turn 11, Perez improves. He's up to third place. And this is going to be how Sergio Perez got past.
It's going to be a lock-up, there it is. He got so close to Russell, actually, Leclerc, but he's kept doing that lock-up in these opening laps, and he's done it again on lap 7.
Lewis Hamilton is in the slipstream of Fernando Alonso. These two had a great battle here last year. There is no battle this year. Hamilton getting past, and Alonso's fears about the race pace are proving correct. Two Ferraris about to do battle. Monza all over again. Look at the sparks flying as the teammates go wheel to wheel. To the inside, Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc refusing to give it up, but he's got no choice. And that was elbows out brilliance from Carlos Sainz. Sainz has been called in. There is the one move you're allowed to make. Perez knows what's coming, tries the up and under, applies the power, super aggressive stuff, and position gained for Sergio Perez, who moves in to a net second place in the race.
Leclerc's also got ahead of Sainz in the pit stop phase. That's an interesting call from Ferrari to invert the cars effectively by pitting Leclerc first and giving him the undercut over his teammate.
That's a late lunge and a half, my word, from downtown to take the place from Carlos Sainz. He came from another postcode.
I love it. I love it. I love to see drivers having the confidence to send it on the brakes. And if you want to win races and you want to win championships, you've got to have that kind of bravery.
Oh, another chance, here we go. Big sparks flying down into turn number 1. Carlos Sainz has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's got the bit between his teeth. He's got all the racing cliches that you want. But either way, he is driving in a way at this circuit that we've never seen from him before. It's been the Charles Leclerc show in the past. That is a rocket ship move. Say goodbye to Carlos Sainz because he's going to go and chase the Red Bulls. This is how he was able to take the place.
No fight at all from the Alpine, waving him through. It's a sorry state of affairs for Alpine, not least qualifying on the back row. And they're not even putting up a fight with an RB.
Horrible pit stop for Valtteri Bottas. He's been there for 39 seconds as they tried to get...
Wrong tyre.
Where have we gone here? Is that the nut being delivered? So that's the nut back to the gun. And this is game over. No matter what happens. So pit stops, this is one of greater consequence in the Grand Prix. George Russell coming in nice and early, getting another set of the hard tyres. Bottas, it's reminiscent of the nightmare he had in Monaco a few years ago. 52 seconds and race ruined. The Scuderia get out ahead of Lando Norris, who was the threat there. And it's very close in the background. And is it going to be a position gained? Piastri dives to the inside. Claims the place off the road. Tyres are cold. Hamilton takes it by the time they get to turn number 2, and it's 8th position for the Mercedes driver.
This next little section we're quite telling, because he's quite close to George. Can he get away with turn 10 without any under rotation? Yes, he can, but no, George Russell can't.
George Russell off the road. Charles Leclerc will join him side by side, but with the inside line heading into turn 11, and all of that hard work, lap after lap after lap, pays off. The Ferrari is up to 4th place in the season opener Grand Prix, and Charles Leclerc finds a way by. The green Aston Martins on the main straight, and that swap of position for the drivers, two-time world champion and driver who's won here before, the only driver in the field who was racing here in 2004 in the first Grand Prix in Bahrain, that is still on the grid today, and he's up to 9th.
Yuki, driver swap.
Are you kidding me now?
So Yuki doesn't love that idea. We're talking about working with the senior team. They've got to work with their own drivers at the moment.
So Ricciardo knows that...
there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Opens the door. Ricciardo goes through. Tsunoda listening to the team instructions.
Yeah, thanks guys, I appreciate it.
Tsunoda didn't love the team instruction, and he's not being shy in reporting it. The Dutch driver continues his domination of Formula One. New year, but no new winner. Max Verstappen, still the driver to beat. Max Verstappen wins the season opener. He takes the Bahrain Grand Prix. And Max Verstappen is lighting up a trail once again. Red Bull expected, Red Bull delivered, and Perez comes across the line to make it a great day for Red Bull. They're 1 and 2 across the line, chased home by Carlos Sainz, who put together a superb performance down at turn 1 with overtake after overtake. He'll be satisfied. And the celebrations are underway. It was always likely to be Red Bull, but that is a statement drive of 57 laps of not attack all the time, but when he did need to attack, Max Verstappen underlined in block caps again. The Saudi Grand Prix is underway, and it's a good launch off the line for both Red Bulls. Charles Leclerc is under threat now for second place. Verstappen leads. Perez will get his nose ahead. Perez will get second place. Charles Leclerc's got the grippy line. Has he got the room to fight back as they all make their way through the first corners of the first lap? It's Verstappen, but Charles Leclerc fights back into second position. He went aggressive and he maintains P2. That's Behrman off the road as he begins life in Formula One, slightly on the defensive. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Alonso, Piastri and Norris, the top 6.
Well managed from Leclerc in those opening corners. Perez looked like he had got the job done, but Leclerc swept back around the outside of turn 2, which he can do because it gives him the inside for 4, and he made it stick. The rest of it looks fairly unchanged further back, but I'm pretty sure Lando Norris jumped the start.
Perez had a great opportunity here to take second place, David.
He did indeed, and you'd think he did all the hard work, but just when it came to sort of closing that space down, Charles Leclerc wasn't intimidated, and this is when it comes down to knowing your competitors. If that was Max Verstappen alongside Charles Leclerc, Max would have just run the car a little bit wider, making it absolutely clear that there was no space for Charles.
Lando Norris at the start, no further action. Behrman is starting his Formula One career on the front foot, but he's got to remember to stay to the right side of the line as around the outside goes Oscar Piastri on Fernando Alonso to take 4th place, and they're fighting all the way by as Behrman had to hobble all over the curb to keep his front wing. Here we go with Perez. This is the battle for second place. He's diving to the inside, and Sergio Perez finds his way by with the first opportunity that he had in the Grand Prix. Looked like he was going to take second place on lap number 1. Lap number 4, he's got 2.1 seconds between him and his teammate in the lead of the race. This is into turn 22. Look at how Bravo off the road and into the wall. A heavy one at turn 23. Lance Stroll into the barriers and out of the race.
Hit the wall.
Okay, can you bring it back, Lance?
No, in the wall.
No, copy that.
Easy to criticise, difficult to do, but he isn't a rookie.
Yeah.
Everyone is coming into the pits. This is going to be so busy. They're going to stick on a hard set of tyres and maybe try and go to the end from here. Really long-ranging one-stopper.
Crucially gets out before the Ferrari, and in this situation there'll be no question of unsafe release.
Yeah, and Perez flung into the path of Fernando Alonso as it is incredibly frantic stuff down there in the pit lane.
Oh, I nearly crashed with a Red Bull. So close.
Sergio Perez gets a 5-second penalty for an unsafe release. Here we go again. It is very tight between Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc for fourth. Lando Norris leads, then it's Max Verstappen, and that is very tight as Charles Leclerc stays ahead and fends off the Australian driver. Alonso trying to profit from it in the green Aston Martin. Has he got momentum to try and retake the place that he lost from Piastri earlier in the race? The answer's no, and they're close, but there's no change for position. Side by side, Albon goes. That is a tap, that is damage, and Ocon profited.
What is he doing?
Kevin Magnussen has been given a 10-second time penalty.
This is the Behrman move. Little dummy shimmy to the inside. Go on then.
I like that. I like that expression, the Behrman move.
Max Verstappen in the unusual position of being in second place. Not for long. Max Verstappen moves past and takes the lead from Lando Norris. He's back in the lead of the race, and he's not the only Red Bull on the move. Perez improves to third. Charles Leclerc tried to go past Lewis Hamilton, outside line to the inside line. Got to be brave to make that work. Is the room? There is. And that's a great angle to show you that getting to the apex first has worked. For the lead Ferrari driver in the race, he's 1.7 seconds away from Sergio Perez. He's going to have a good opportunity now to build up through the gears to try and make his way by. The Haas is in the way, but only for the moment. That's the pass he's been looking for, and the man on debut in Formula One is up to ninth. Kevin Magnussen has been given a 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
You want me to go check?
Oh, you are kidding me, aren't you? 10 seconds for that.
That's harsh.
And the chance of a safety car with these four brawling in the way that they are, well, it goes up when they go side by side. Tsunoda's been looking for that pass lap after lap. Magnussen doesn't want to give it up. Brilliant racing from the pair of them. Magnussen knows that he's not going to score a point in the race. That is defiance, and it's cost Yuki Tsunoda because Esteban Ocon finally gives Alpine something to smile about.
So this drive from Magnussen is going to earn Haas a point because Hülkenberg at the end of this lap should have a pit stop window to come in and clear his teammate.
Whoa, that's a second and a half for Alexander Albon. Patience ran out at turn number one. It's only 14th, but it looked great on board. Yuki Tsunoda will not want to go backwards. The driver who started in 9th position on the grid is passed again. As Hülkenberg comes into the pits, we talked of that pit window a few moments ago, and Hülkenberg is going to blend out onto the racetrack, and Haas might have engineered a chance to get Hülkenberg into the points. We've had plenty of chapters of this battle time and time again. This is the best run for Oscar Piastri through the entire race, and Hamilton's defence comes to an end, or does it? Piastri locks up, takes the place, won't be able to overtake like that. He had the momentum, he had the overspeed, but he couldn't slow down the McLaren, and still they battle over 5th place.
Behrman, if he keeps this consistency, he's actually just done his best lap of the race. He's only a tenth and a half slower than Norris. Absolutely cracking drive this from Ollie Behrman.
And Norris struggling a bit with tyres there. He's fighting with Hamilton as well. We can do it.
Great encouragement for the British driver, 18 years of age, looking for points in debut in Formula One. This was Daniel Ricciardo running in 16th place, and round he goes.
Clouting an apex curve, rear tyres that were probably on the limit already.
Max Verstappen is going to win the opening 2 Grand Prix of the year, a 9th consecutive win. Max Verstappen, eat, sleep, win, repeat. Verstappen takes the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to lead home a Red Bull 1-2. An outstanding result for the team. Once again, the Mexican fans celebrating in that grandstand. Verstappen wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix with another drive of distinction as Charles Leclerc comes home for his first podium finish of the season. And look at this moment for the 18-year-old from Chelmsford. Points on debut for Oliver Behrman. Ferrari's youngest ever Formula One driver is a point scorer at the first attempt. The stars of the show on a day that they went past the great Williams name, 4th all-time in Formula One. behind Mercedes, behind McLaren and behind Ferrari. They have earned their place there, and it's another 1-2 for the team. And Formula One is underway in Melbourne. Good reaction time at the front of the field for Carlos Sainz, but his path is blocked by Max Verstappen, who has the lead. Norris maintains third, Verstappen, Sainz, and then it is Lando Norris. A clean route through for all of those in the field. It'll be 19 now that Zhou Guanyu joins the race. It's Verstappen with the getaway that he needed. Then it's Sainz, Norris, Leclerc stayed ahead of Piastri. It's getting very, very tight between Perez and George Russell, and it's Russell who finds his way to hang on to the place. He moves up to 6th position, Perez down to 7th. It's as you were ahead. Here we go, the best chance to get past his old teammate. These two started life in Formula One together at Toro Rosso, and they're about to go wheel to wheel. You're watching a Ferrari take the lead of the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz, first opportunity offered up, first opportunity taken, and the man who didn't race in the last round leads in round 3. The smoke.
It is smoke out of the back of Verstappen's car. For the first time in 2 years, reliability could be a question mark.
Can you believe what we're seeing? The man who has finished every Grand Prix since he retired from this one in 2022 has smoke from the rear of the car. Max Verstappen has an issue. He's still very close to the lead of the Grand Prix, but he might not have a tyre left at the end of it.
Where's that smoke coming from? Is it something on the rear right?
It's gone! It's gone! The man who was trying to win 10 Grand Prix in a row for the second time in his Formula One career will not continue the run. A fire at the back of the car. The dreams of victory gone.
Smoke. Blue smoke. Fire.
He has had Formula One set to easy, week in, week out, but he will not see the flag. He's retiring from the Australian Grand Prix, and in Melbourne, it's game on to win the Australian Grand Prix. And the World Championship leader, chasing title number 4, the first retirement against all expectations, and his 43 race finishing streak in Formula One comes to a fiery end.
Yeah, I've had an engine failure.
Oh, okay.
Engine failure.
Hamilton out of the race. Our second retirement of the day. It's Verstappen and now it's Hamilton. And Mercedes have had a few worries about the power unit. This time it's taken out their 7-time world champion driver. The virtual safety car is now deployed. That was always coming. And everyone reduces their pace. If you pit under the virtual safety car, you save yourself about 7 seconds.
But look at the way Hamilton's parked as he gets out of the car. That'll take just seconds to push behind the wall. Well, there goes the engine in quite a severe way. Sudden cut for Hamilton. Second retirement, and Alonso, if he can scramble to the pit lane, will save himself 6.5, 7 seconds of pit stop time.
Alonso is looking for that benefit. It is a Ferrari 1-2 on track. Then Piastri and Lando Norris. Look at how much it pays you back if you pit under the virtual safety car. Fernando Alonso says, thank you very much. You can get rid of that virtual safety car now, chaps. We're ready to go racing again. We look at the live speeds of Russell and Perez building up through the gears, heading to 190 miles per hour and heading to an overtake. If Perez can just get close enough, does he have enough road to sweep around the outside? There is your answer. He did it in the final meters of the corner, but he got the move done. Russell, does he launch one to the inside? Can he launch one to the inside by way of response? The answer is no. Perez, P6, and that's another pass for him. He will go chasing Fernando Alonso. We know that in the final stages of this run, that Fernando Alonso will not have the speed of Perez. In fact, Alonso darting out of the way, doesn't want to get mixed up in the Mexican driver's race. And now that is 5th position for Perez, who has a bit of clear air. He's going to try and do something about the 4 in front of him.
There's the call. This is not going to be popular amongst the Aussies, but he's going to pull over and Norris will sweep through for 3rd.
Piastri playing the team game. Norris is on tyres that are 5 laps younger than Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc covering off the 2 quick drivers behind. It's going to be tight. Perez, Alonso chasing. 2.1 second stop was so important. This is going to give an opportunity now to Fernando Alonso. The three of them together. And Alonso's got a great opportunity. Which way does he go? Leclerc maintains track position. And Alonso, despite soaring to the left, to the right, can't find his way past Perez. And that was closer than Ferrari would have wanted. When you see Verstappen go out of the race, you know there's a point on offer for teams who need to take their chance. And Alex Albon running as close as he dared to the back of the Haas, but not on the side of the racetrack that he needed to be. And Hülkenberg scampers clear. All the while this goes on, Tsunoda with RB's most important pit stop of the year so far, and he's back out ahead of both.
They're so dangerous. Moving.
This is how Oscar Piastri was able to take the position on the outside and then shown part of the racetrack he hasn't seen before, then given room by Fernando Alonso. And this is Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. Bomb move and taking the place away from his old teammate and good friend. Just out of the points, these two. Kevin Magnussen thinking about the move to the inside. My word. Oh, he's thinking about it from miles back. He is all over the back of the Williams. It's going to be quick again. It's going to be very fast. This time, around the outside, to take the place. Kevin Magnussen gets the move done. Oh, big crash! George Russell with a massive accident at the end of the Grand Prix at turn number 6, and that will end the race as a contest. The virtual safety car is out. George Russell was battling over 6th place, and this is how it came undone.
He got so close to Fernando on the way into the corner. It was just simple dirty air for Russell. And just simply didn't have the airflow over his car. Lost a load of downforce, turned in and had a major oversteer all the way to the barriers.
What a performance! What a comeback! A Ferrari 1-2, headed by Carlos Sainz, who wins the Australian Grand Prix.
Yes, we have it. P1, baby, P1. So, baby sharp move.
Good job, Carlos.
This is amazing. Thank you, guys. Life is a roller coaster. Eh?
It is.
Life is incredible.
Was a smooth operator.
Oh, I forgot. Smooth operator.
Carlos Sainz, the sensational winner of the Australian Grand Prix with his most dominant drive in Formula One. It says he only won by 2.3 seconds, but he was always in control of that one from the moment that Verstappen was out of the race. Here's what it does to the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen still leads, Charles Leclerc up to 2nd, down to 3rd goes Sergio Perez, up to 4th, our race winner today. In the Constructors' Championship, it's a Red Bull Racing on 97, but look at Ferrari on 93. It is time to go racing at Suzuka. And the Japanese Grand Prix is underway. Max Verstappen gets the launch off the line he was looking for. Alonso did get a good jump but couldn't do anything with it. Side by side we go with the McLaren and the Ferrari. Lando Norris is in 3rd. It's as you were. Verstappen, Perez, Norris, then Sainz. And Fernando Alonso couldn't make it work on those soft tyres. He remains in 5th as they make their way through and off into the wall. Off into the wall goes the two cars and a big crash into the tyre barrier.
Yeah, it's going to be an immediate safety car then. It's heavy impact for Ricciardo and Albon. So Albon then gets a decent chance to come alongside, and there's the touch. So there was the driver on the inside of Ricciardo. Albon was sort of aiming towards a space that was closing. Daniel's come across on Alex Albon. I don't think that was particularly fair from Ricciardo there. I think he did have more space on the left-hand side.
Take 2 at Suzuka is 5 lights away. And the Japanese Grand Prix is go once again. And it was a good reaction time for Perez. Verstappen had to chop across. The top 4 are still in the same order. Who's feeling brave? The top 5 are still in the same order as Piastri tries to put pressure on Alonso and is not able to do so. They make their way through the S's. Can they all get through cleanly this time? The answer is yes to that. And it is Charles Leclerc, the big winner off the line. He's managed to dart ahead of Lewis Hamilton, the medium tyre trumping the hard.
Yeah, Pierre gave me a hit on the side. Let me know if it's okay.
Will do.
George Russell diving to the inside and retaking the place. He's up to 9th, and that is Valtteri Bottas saying goodbye to Esteban Ocon. Russell up to 9th, Bottas up to 11th, making moves early on with the DRS. Lando Norris is into the pits, and the first McLaren in 4th place, responding to the Mercedes now being on the right tyre. Let's see where Lando Norris comes out. If McLaren dropped him in to a lovely gap, it looks like they have, and Norris has a bit of clear air. Next car up the road is Stroll.
What's happening with Yuki Tsunoda on the hard tyres having made a stop? Gasly ahead.
Hold on a minute. We're not going to see a move here, are we? What? Wonderful stuff. The Mercedes are swapping positions. Lewis Hamilton asking the team what they wanted to do. Russell goes up to 5th. So Max Verstappen has made his pit stop. You see that on the left-hand side. And Verstappen comes out. Oh, that is unbelievably close to try and go around the outside. Lando Norris goes the long way round and takes the place away from Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton under pressure. We're heading to the 130R. So close. And Hamilton has to cede the place. Oh, they're going so quickly as they turn left at that corner. Perez on the new mediums up to 5th.
I wonder if the Mercedes are trying to lock into different strategies today, and Hamilton's maybe on a long one-stopper, Russell on something different, and that's why they swap positions fairly quickly.
Perez is going to line up once again at the 130R. Is he able to quickly get past George Russell? Russell has to give the room. Another pass on board with Perez, who sweeps by, makes use of that medium rubber and takes 4th place. As we're going to go very, very tight. No one wants to get past into the spoon corner, but Hamilton's going to have to give the place, and he does so. Carlos Sainz, winner of the Australian Grand Prix, is up to 6th. Can Verstappen make the move quickly and cleanly? That's the question we're posing as we build up to 200 miles per hour, and Leclerc tries to defend, but Max Verstappen retakes the lead of the race.
Russell can't turn the Mercedes at turn 11, and Sainz is right with him, and it's just, you feel so helpless in their position with these guys on much fresher tyres, softer compound as well for Sainz, on the inside into spoon, and through he goes. It's an absolute carbon copy of the pass he did on Hamilton.
There's Perez making the move to the inside and taking 3rd position. Clean pass, making the move. Lando Norris really chooses his battles carefully in Formula One. Incredible spectacle outside the commentary box there. There's a huge gaggle of cars came into the pits at the same time. Magnussen, Bottas, Sargent, and a change for position. Look at this, look at this. And we've got a terrific move there for Yuki Tsunoda. The crowd are cheering once again. He's found himself out ahead there, and they all came in together, bottled up by Kevin Magnussen. That was the gap that Mercedes were waiting to clear, and you can see why.
It's as if, so on the last stint, Bottas pitted before anyone else, had a slow stop, but because he had fresher tyres for one lap, managed to effectively undercut his way back to where he was.
Guys, well done, thank you. Top job, guys. Top job.
Good.
Charles Leclerc out qualified by Carlos Sainz on a couple of occasions in a row now. Wide moment for Leclerc, who goes off the road and loses the place. Sergio Perez is up to 2nd position. Can Lando Norris inflict more hurt on Charles Leclerc? There could be a real opportunity for Stroll to try and make the place on Tsunoda, who's trying to get by. Ancient tyres on that car, but Hülkenberg holds the place, and this is the worst case scenario for Tsunoda, because now Stroll can tuck in, and it's getting really tight. Can he do another amazing move? My goodness me, it was nearly that corner again for RB. That was so tight, and he's trying to use the extra grip. 27 lap old tyres, he's gonna do it again, and the crowd absolutely love it. Tsunoda through at the S's for the 2nd time in the Grand Prix. And Sainz will have the fresh tyres to attack, but he's going to lose the track position to the names that you can now see passing him on the circuit. Degner 2 has been causing issues all the way through, and I believe that Sargent has gone off the track there. And that is not a great place to reverse a Formula One car onto. Well, Here he is, building up to 200 miles per hour out of the slipstream. DRS wide open. Carlos Sainz fights his way by to 4th position. Right now, he's focusing on getting past his teammate and moving up. There's the defense from Charles Leclerc, but the DRS and the speed belongs to Carlos Sainz. Oh, that's a late dive bomb move, or an attempt for one for George Russell, going wheel to wheel with Oscar Piastri. Piastri refusing to give that one up, keeps the track position. Russell will be on the radio to complain. And George Russell's got a big opportunity now. George Russell, suddenly Piastri is going to let Russell out of the slipstream. He can't defend. They both had DRS, but George Russell takes the place on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Downhill to victory for the reigning world champion. Max Verstappen returns to victory. Max Verstappen wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's a Red Bull 1-2 thanks to Sergio Perez. 4 Grand Prix, 4 1-2s, 1 for Ferrari, 3 for Red Bull. And next up, we return to the Chinese Grand Prix for the first time since 2019. The race in Shanghai begins in 5 lights time. The Chinese Grand Prix is underway, and Max Verstappen gets the launch he needs to chop across Sergio Perez. Fernando Alonso, does he feel brave to sweep around the outside of the Mexican driver? Gets the jump at the moment. Is the grip there? Alonso's being really brave, but the grip runs out. He's got the inside line. He's got 2nd position. He moves past Perez as Verstappen holds the lead, but look at the traction that Alonso's got fighting the car. It is Verstappen, Alonso, then Perez. We're on board with 4th place Lando Norris.
Alonso was working so hard to bring those tyres to life on the warm-up lap, and it's paid off. The commitment and confidence he had around the outside of turn 1 was staggering. Thought he was going to have a look at P1 for a minute as well.
Oh, that really was an aggressive start by the driver in the green Aston Martin, Lando Norris, chasing down Perez. Perez did not enjoy racing in the pack earlier on. And if you're thinking, who's that in the Haas? That is Nico Hülkenberg, up 2 places. A poor getaway for both Ferraris. Leclerc down to 8th, Sainz down to 9th. The team's trying to get the tyres up to temperature, trying to make overtakes, as we see now a big opportunity for Charles Leclerc, trying to make amends for losing places off the line, and he makes the pass into turn 14, gets past Hülkenberg, who's down to 8th.
Sainz trying to come with him as well. Hülkenberg on the inside into the final corner. That'll compromise his exit, and Sainz could do with clearing the Haas as soon as possible, maybe into turn 1 here.
Let's see, he pulls out of the slipstream, building up to 200 miles per hour. DRS is now enabled, but Sainz didn't have to wait for it. Hülkenberg knows his fight is not with the cars from Maranello.
Looks like Alonso's pushing their tyres a lot harder than us. This is good.
It is good news. Will there be any defence offered by Fernando Alonso, or does he have to think about the long game? And Sergio Perez powers by and retakes 2nd place in the Grand Prix. So here we go with the young British driver Lando Norris trying to get past the oldest driver in the field, Fernando Alonso, focusing on the race again. Park it on the apex. He tried that on the lap to the grid, and Lando Norris takes 3rd place. This is so important for Leclerc to try and make the pass early using one of the DRS zones. How brave is Leclerc feeling? Now that move isn't done yet, but Leclerc makes the pass, shuts the door, and takes the long way round to take 6th place. There's an opportunity now for the Ferrari. That was late to pull out of the slipstream, but that's another position gained for the man from Monaco. Through goes Charles Leclerc. He's up to 5th, and he's going chasing Fernando Alonso. Here's our race leader, Max Verstappen, all by himself. As Perez comes in fact, he's so far ahead, Red Bull can double stack, not even worry about it. That is so impressive from Red Bull. 2.1 and 2 second stops back to back. Problem for Valtteri Bottas. He'd been having a good weekend. He was challenging for the points, but still, he can't find his way to the top 10.
Thankfully for Norris, he will take the 8-second benefit that you get for pitting under the VSC. 15-second loss instead of a 23.
And the full safety car is out. They cannot move that car due to this man's retirement. And into the pits we come with Max Verstappen, and Perez has been called in. Red Bull will have to double stack once again.
Perez is going to lose track position here.
So through goes Norris, up to second place. It will change for you on the left-hand side, and Perez drops down. Now, Alonso comes into the pits. Can Leclerc get out before the Mexican driver? Can he get to that safety car line? I think he's going to do it, and he gets past. So it's Verstappen, Norris, and Charles Leclerc as Perez rejoins. Here we go. Lock up for everyone. Oh, contact at the back between Stroll and I think Ricciardo as Max Verstappen. Yeah, Hülkenberg moves up, Ricciardo moves down. It was a mess at the hairpin. The green flag flies once again at Shanghai International, and it's a great restart for Verstappen. This was at the hairpin. Oh, that is ridiculous. That is a huge hit into the back of Daniel Ricciardo for Stroll, who then had to pit. This is what it looked like on board. They just clobbered him. So Stroll, who was hoping to return to the points today and had a good spin in the background for one of the V-carbs. And there you go. Oh, that is so disappointing for Yuki Tsunoda, who is pulling off. And will that require more intervention? That car looks like it's in trouble at the back. Magnussen on board. We've seen that before. There is the contact damage to the front left for Magnussen. Puncture, maybe more for Yuki Tsunoda. This is on board the Japanese driver. And this was against Carlos Sainz, and that's the soft tyre in full operating. Well, it caused chaos, but once he fired it up, it's a very effective tyre, and he got past Sainz. Take two. This time the pass for Stroll, who's able to get past. Magnussen leaves a wheel in, and they somehow make their way round the corner. Stroll leaves the widest berth possible, and this is really, really great battling for the last place on the road, because Daniel Ricciardo has come into the pits and we're scrapping all the way through the order, but Stroll in the green Aston Martin and Magnussen finding himself back ahead for the time being. It's as you were into the hairpin, or is it late lunchtime now for the Canadian driver? Gets to the apex first. Will that be the pass? Oh, they're treating us to some great battling through this one. Magnussen doesn't want to give the place up, and they'll still continue this, Jolien. I've got to bring you in now.
This is our new Villeneuve. Dijon, isn't it? A lap of wheel-to-wheel action, swapping places every corner. Here comes Magnussen again around the outside.
And this time, Stroll's elbow is out to claim the place. And this is the move for Perez, trying to get past Charles Leclerc. Can Leclerc place the Ferrari in order to fight back? It's going to be close between these two. Side by side they go. No. Perez gets ahead. Alonso can take that soft tyre no further. And they felt the need to roll the dice, but it's not paid off. These two were not on the friendliest terms. Former teammates by the end of their time together, and Alonso will have to make the move as quickly as possible. Man, that is a quick direction change, and that is as quickly as possible. And it will not be a contest with fresh tyres. With DRS, he ceded the place to get rid of the softs. He put on the medium tyres, and another place gained by Fernando Alonso, who goes after Lewis Hamilton, who's up 10 places at the moment. Oh, he nearly dropped it from the gravel and did a Carlos Sainz from yesterday. Alonso so nearly into the barrier and out of the race.
How has he done that?
42 years of age, but still providing box office moments. Fernando Alonso past Lewis Hamilton and up to 8th. It could have all been over a few corners ago. To the hairpin, turn 14, another position gained and up to 7th position. For the first time in his career, Max Verstappen crosses the line to take victory in Shanghai. His 58th Formula One win, and he has destroyed the field once more. The Dutchman leads home Lando Norris. 2 Red Bulls on the podium thanks to Sergio Perez. And a first victory in Shanghai for Max Verstappen, who extends his lead in the Drivers' Championship. The moment is nearly here. And the Miami Grand Prix is underway. Poor start for Charles Leclerc. Through goes Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen maintains the lead. Oh, he was nearly hit by his teammate. That was so close. Sergio Perez went to the inside. He momentarily took second, but he went deep into the first turn, and that very nearly was contact between the two Red Bulls. They got away with it, though. Down to fifth goes Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen leads. Then it's Leclerc. Oscar Piastri, the big winner. He is up 3 places to third. Sainz is fourth. Then Perez. My word, that was dramatic into turn number 1 as they try to make their way through the first of 57 laps, but Perez was millimetres away from striking his teammate, went to the inside line of that first turn. No grip, dirty, dusty, and he very nearly made contact. They got away with it.
Yeah, it looks like he's got cards on the top of his helmet. He went all in and almost all the way into his teammate. He will never be so lucky again. Just feels as if Verstappen is just doing enough to keep that gap beyond DRS and not wanting to put too much stress on the tyres as well, as here he comes.
Oh, thinking about the move, diving to the inside. Leclerc trying to be respectful. Well, it was after you or after you. They didn't want to make contact. They didn't make contact. Oscar Piastri is up to second position. That is Hamilton making the move and getting past Hülkenberg up to 7th place.
Vanini just had a big crash there.
Yeah, copy, we saw that.
And now Hülkenberg's back in front?
Yeah, Hülkenberg occupying 7th position. The main battle you're looking at is Lewis Hamilton trying to get back past Hülkenberg, something he did before, dipped out of the slipstream, went back in again, now to the inside of turn 11, and Lewis Hamilton gets that pass done for the second time today. Hülkenberg down to 8th. Now, at turn 11, are we going to get the pass for George Russell? He's managed to get there. One Mercedes went by before. There are still 2 Pirellis on that racetrack, and Russell makes the pass to improve to 8th place. And the man from Monaco, he hits his marks, and that is a quick stop for Ferrari.
I hit that cone in 15 seconds front lead.
Understood.
Race leader with the swap on, trying to take avoiding action, and he clobbers the bollard. Max Verstappen has been called to the pits. He blends in, that's the blend line to the pit lane, and he had a lead of 3.6 seconds as he hands it over to his team. Oscar Piastri leads the Grand Prix for McLaren. Now, is there a chance for Fernando Alonso to get past Pierre Gasly? Alonso, who had a really tough start after his worst qualifying of the year yesterday, gets to the apex first, and Alonso moves up and takes 14th position. We've got Esteban Ocon making moves as well. Alpine searching for their first points of the year. That is him moving past, and Ocon able to get past the Haas. Fernando Alonso is going to make the move now on that medium tyre up against Hülkenberg, and he manages to fight his way by. Hülkenberg refuses to give it up. In the end, has no choice. Chance for another overtake, heading to turn number 1, and the Mercedes of George Russell gets past Esteban Ocon. That's for 11th place. Piastri maintaining track position. Former race leader Max Verstappen goes through, so does Charles Leclerc, and Lando Norris continues to circulate out there. Off the road goes Kevin Magnussen, and looking at our driver tracker, Logan Sargent might be there as well. The home favourite, the full safety car is out. Lando Norris is going to get the benefit. You only lose 9 seconds under the safety car. He's got 11 to Max Verstappen.
Logan defends the inside, Kevin on the outside in the braking zone. And they're going to do the switch back out of 1 into 2. Yes, indeed. Oof. And I don't think Logan knew he was there.
It is a huge moment in the race as well because it's brought out the safety car. Norris this time does come in to the pits, goes on to the hard tyres, and Lando Norris is going to venture back out onto the racetrack as the race leader. When does Lando Norris stand on the power? It's got to be single file at the restart. You can't draw alongside that car. You can't overtake until you cross that start-finish line. Can Lando Norris keep Max Verstappen behind? We're fighting immediately on the restart here. Norris, Verstappen, then Leclerc. It's close between Perez and Sainz further back in the battle for 5th place, but it's wide open for the win here in the USA. Norris did not have a comfortable restart, but he does maintain the lead.
But this guy right here, Carlos Sainz, going to line up the McLaren, who does not have it. Big defensive move from Piastri.
Carlos Sainz trying to go the long way round and claim 4th place, but it's elbow thrown by Oscar Piastri. And this is what happens when you get a safety car late on. Finally, they are really aggressively racing. And to show you that, Hamilton's just got up to 7th place.
Yeah, I can't get the car to turn. It's a disaster.
Big opportunity to the inside for Carlos Sainz, who gets by at last, and that was really squirming all over the road. It's not done yet. Oscar Piastri is trying to fight back, and Oscar Piastri will fight back to take the place, but he's deep into the corner, and it invites Sainz to finally claim 4th place. Lando Norris leads by 2.9 seconds. Then it's Charles Leclerc. Then it's Sainz up to 4th. Piastri trying to hang on to 5th place. Perez trying to take it away. Perez squeezes the driver. One gets by. Now there's a second as well because Hamilton takes the place. And the crowd love what they see. A replacement wing for Piastri. And this is another big opportunity. It was a move to the inside for Esteban Ocon. Fernando Alonso knew what was coming. He fights his way by. Good battle between these two, now resolved in favour of Alonso. 15 times Lando Norris has stood on the podium, but never on the top step. Until now, it's a landmark day for Lando. Lando Norris wins for the first time in Formula One. It's victory in Miami for Norris and McLaren. The British driver's dream is realised. And at the 110th attempt, he's done it. He's won it. And look what it means to Zak Brown. At long last, Lando is your winner.
Oh, I love you all. I love you all. Thank you so much. We did it, Will! We did it!
P1 at the end of 57 laps. 5th on the grid to 1st at the flag. A leap forward in more ways than one. Well, what an incredible weekend it has been here in Miami. We've given you a brand new Grand Prix winner. Lando Norris has won the Miami Grand Prix. Thanks for your company wherever you watched. We'll see you when F1 returns. Goodbye. We go racing in 5 lights time. And the Grand Prix is underway. Even reaction time at the front of the field. Lando Norris is going to try and put the pressure on. Max Verstappen holds the lead. The two Ferraris side by side. Who's going to lead into turn number 1? It's going to be Max Verstappen who's ahead of Lando Norris. And it's grid order for the top 4. Oscar Piastri still in 5th position. No change for anyone until you look all the way back down to Lewis Hamilton, who's up to 7th position, gaining a couple of places as well as Hülkenberg. It was a poor getaway for Yuki Tsunoda. He dropped down to 9th. Perez made a place on those hard tyres as they make their way through the opening corners of the Grand Prix fairly cleanly. The top 5 as they were when they left the grid. Max Verstappen leads.
As we go on board with Hülkenberg, another good top 10 qualifying, and gets that initial launch.
Yes. Come on.
Problem for Alex Albon in the Williams, and the Thai driver is coasting slowly. He had come in for the stop.
I think I've got a problem. My tyre's not on properly.
He presents the car beautifully, lined up as it's supposed to. Let's see. I'm not sure. Did you see the time on that stop? Because in actual presentation terms, he did his job.
Wonder if it was the front right.
Did it look like the gunman was going back at that front right as the car was being committed to go back out on track?
So 1V carb in last time around. The pressure on the team back out onto the circuit. 2.3 seconds is exactly the sort of stop that they were looking for.
This in turn is going to be good news for Perez, because surely Hülkenberg will pit on the next lap.
This is the German driver who is into the pits, the man heading to what will become Audi in a couple of years, Sauber next year, then Audi in 2026. 2.5 seconds is important, but what about that outlap? This is crucial in the Constructors' Championship, and Yuki Tsunoda goes a lap earlier, goes to work around this 3-mile racetrack, and crucially for V-Carb, gets ahead of the Haas and Hülkenberg. Perez going to make a mistake here because he had a very, very slow lap last time around, and we saw the Aston Martin right behind. He went off.
Yeah, it's easily done, but unfortunately very costly. And what will the ramifications of that be later in his race? Could he's just lost a few seconds?
Oscar Piastri hitting his marks. That's a good stop as well for McLaren, 2.2. That's Yuki Tsunoda. That's the overtake that we were mentioning earlier in the broadcast. Can you turn the outside into the inside and improve your position? Tsunoda up to 12th with that, and Hülkenberg, fighting Sargent, knows that if he's going to try and stay with the Japanese driver, he'd have to be inventive, and he was.
Yeah, Logan Sargent must be feeling punch drunk after those two moves.
This is on board with Lewis Hamilton into Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, just bottom out and locked up under rotation and straight through the gravel.
Verstappen retaking the lead that he held at the start of the race. This is going to be such an important moment in the Grand Prix for Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc gets used to those hard tyres and how they compare to the mediums. Can Piastri put the pressure on? Time for another overtake now with Sergio Perez. He's cleared the Haas of Nico Hülkenberg and he's up to 9th position.
Yeah, it's fairly straightforward, just pure performance, fresher tyres, and en route to towards Tsunoda.
And the RB20, the Red Bull car, behind, out of the slipstream, and that's an easy pass up to 8th. Tsunoda looking for another points finish again today. Hülkenberg completing it, and Ricciardo just trying to put the pressure on the Haas. Here's the chance for Lance Stroll. Wow, slam dunk stuff. Through he goes with the better drive off the corner. Through he goes in the Aston Martin. This is Charles Leclerc. He's heading to the Variante Alta. Yeah, I thought he'd scampered over the chicane, and he just takes the route across the turns on the racetrack that make up 14 and 15.
Yeah, that didn't work for him at all. Not that that was a strategy, that was a mistake.
Here's Stroll making the pass. He uses the DRS, he uses the greater speed, he uses the fresher tyres, and he gets by. Up to 9th position. Canadian driver finds himself improving, and that's a good return to the points if he can stay there.
The main losses to Lando, turn 2, turn 6.
Yeah, my tyres don't work, mate.
Just information, Max, that's all.
Yeah, same for me.
Verstappen is complaining about it.
I see. Oh, good. I'm pushing, mate. So I guess the main thing to focus on now, Max, is as the gap is less than 5 seconds, we really can't afford any track limits. So focus on that, mate.
There he is. He can see the race leader. The laps are ticking down, and Max knows he's got to be just a little bit more careful on track limits, which might cost you a tenth or two a lap, just that in itself.
This is going to be absolutely fascinating. Norris knowing that if he can keep it clean, he will be able to have the chance to heap the pressure on.
Can he let me by? Even more stupid.
And Lando happy to push turn 9 a little bit more.
I'm pushing as much as I can, mate.
And we've seen some great Grand Prix so far this year, but we haven't really seen a battle like this all the way to the end. Lando Norris, he told us he was pushing DC, and we saw that he's absolutely wringing the neck of that car.
I'm so sorry for the sound effects, but that's within not even 3/4 of a kilometre. He's been right over the edge of the rear tyre twice.
He's upped his own pace, Verstappen. He was 1,000th off his best lap of the race on the last lap. Norris is still chiming away, some decent lap times, still slightly quicker than Leclerc behind on the last tour. But Verstappen has managed to find a little bit more. Gap's as low as it's been though, 1.4 seconds, still Norris sliding on the rear end.
This one-time contender, now Grand Prix winner, trying to force the error from Max Verstappen. They're getting closer to home. Norris chasing Verstappen all the way to the checkered flag.
Right, the next big stop is the tricky one. This is where we know Perez made a mistake earlier in the Grand Prix. Verstappen is going to have to go slightly cautious.
Verstappen is nearly there. He's nearly home. Lando Norris has chased him all the way to the flag, but Max Verstappen will take back the top step. Max Verstappen wins in Imola. What a finish from those two across the line. It's new opposition for Verstappen, but the same result. The Dutch driver does it again, and he beats Lando Norris by 0.7 of a second. Charles Leclerc completes the podium, and how wonderful was it to see two brilliant drivers battling all the way to the end of lap 63. And one of the great motor races begins in 5 lights time. And the Monaco Grand Prix is underway. We get the launch from the line from Charles Leclerc. He's going to maintain the lead. Could be second place for Ferrari. They go side by side with Piastri and Sainz duking it out. But the Australian driver kept second place. The top 4, the top 5 as they were, as Leclerc gets the launch that he needed. But is that a problem? Is that an issue? Looks like the sparks out of the back of the car for Sainz. He has got a problem. He's off and he's out. Carlos Sainz on the opening lap. Was the wheel banging between those two, because the Spanish driver is out on the opening lap of the Grand Prix.
There must have been a touch then, Sainz and Piastri. Piastri was so brave at the first corner, hanging it around the outside. The wall then pinches in on the exit, and there must have been a slight touch between them.
Watch Piastri, watch Oscar Piastri in second place. He's all over the back of the Scarlet Ferrari, trying to chase his way by. Can he force his way past to the Nouvelle chicane? Would have been bold, but the McLaren firing up their tyres so quickly. One Ferrari out immediately, and the red flag is flying on lap 1 of 78. Oh, that's a big crash that we didn't see further back. Most important thing to see. Look, no front left, no front right. But Perez, thankfully, out of the car, and a huge amount of debris. But extraordinarily, 4 cars out on the opening lap.
This is the touch then for Sainz. Oh, it's a little one, but just carbon fibre there at the edge of the floor for Piastri, and Sainz knows he's got a puncture immediately.
Watch Perez, it's going to be down the inside. It's Magnussen with the clip that causes the accident, and that's a massive hit into the wall.
He doesn't back out, does he? He just never, it's not in his DNA for Kevin Magnussen to back out. So Perez must have had a pretty bad start to be down there with both Haas cars. So Hülkenberg might get a view of this, or was he I think he was ahead, wasn't he? Oh, that's Perez ahead, so Magnussen sneaks up the inside of Hülkenberg.
Yeah, and Magnussen's going to be on the right-hand side. That's where the contact is going to be.
Well, I mean, Magnussen will say that Perez should have given him a bit more space to go side by side up there.
Are you okay, Nico?
Damn it. That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the angle, I think. There's the gap, and he's already touched the wall himself and then just keeps his foot in. He just never backs out. He's on 10 points on his licence. You'd think he'd be cautious at the moment. That's going to be him gone.
That is Esteban Ocon chancing one at Portier. The two Alpines come together.
What did he do? What did he do? What did he try to attack me?
Red flag.
Gosh. The whole car is damaged now.
I can tell you Esteban Ocon is in the garage having his car looked at, and that is why. We were able to establish an order, but the order for the restart has been given as Sainz in 3rd position. That is a huge let-off for the Spanish driver. We're underway and racing once again on the streets of Monaco. Looks like a good launch for Oscar Piastri. He's got nowhere to go though. Charles Leclerc maintains the lead once again. Lando Norris was close with Carlos Sainz, but it's George Russell who's got the better traction with that medium tyre. Can he get close? No, he can't. Top 5, top 6 as they were off the line. Will we make our way through this sequence of corners unscathed this time? We will, and everyone will be trying to bring the tyre temperature in.
I can't imagine he's feeling too comfortable there. He is measuring the pace. He can fluctuate it as he likes. He's now on this lap a second slower than the lap before, and that's why Piastri is right with him. But when you have the bright yellow car in your mirrors that close, that was less than 3/10 into the best overtaking place on the circuit. Piastri's only about half a car from throwing a lunge. That you can't be sitting too comfortable if you're in that position. This is really close now.
Charles managing, I guess, because that was close with Piastri. One lap, he might extend it.
Yeah,
Carlos Sainz agrees with Jolyon Palmer.
And Aston Martin can do something here because they have both cars 11th and 12th. They are now giving up Alonso's race to get a big gap to Stroll. So Stroll can have a pit stop and go and attack Gasly. So Alonso's managing this pace still. Even though he's on a medium tyre, he's just keeping Ricciardo here, and it's frustrating for a driver that's done so many big lunge overtakes in his career. He's not able to do one just yet.
And my word, Lance Stroll is making a pit stop. Something is happening in the pit lane in front of us. 2.3 seconds, and all of Alonso's work has built a gap for his Canadian teammate.
Just for your info, I think you have around... do you want to know the margin?
No, Charles, we're not interested, we know.
You said all right.
No, we are not interested.
That's rude.
Sorry.
Oh no, Stroll's got a puncture.
Stroll has a puncture, and his amble up to the back of Pierre Gasly will not happen. That's the carcass off the rim. Stroll back to the pit lane, and that deletes the chance of seeing some pressure late on. It's Valtteri Bottas, driver in 13th position, and he's in 13th position because he's going to go to the inside, and we've got an overtake at Monaco. Valtteri Bottas gets by. He's past Logan Sargent at Mirabeau.
What a move! Best of the race.
And it's very fast at this stage of the tunnel for Lance Stroll, who had to back off, but did eventually get through down to the Nouvelle chicane on those soft tyres.
He had better tyres, got the run on acceleration, but then had a moment of doubt.
It's an overtaking bonanza. Another one for Stroll.
Another one. He's got another driver, and he goes past Logan Sargent. Oh, my word. More than a brush.
Double touch there, I think, from Joe and Sargent.
I would say the highlights reel of this one is not going to be the longest.
Yeah, good luck to the editor. And this is Logan Sargent overtaking Zhou Guanyu and getting up to 15th place, and he did that whilst he was making his way through the traffic. In 2017, Charles Leclerc lost his father, and in his final days, he told his father a white lie, that he'd made it to Formula One, that he'd signed the contract. It wasn't true then, but his driving has made it true now. And look what he's done with the opportunity. The grandstands he saw built as a kid growing up now rise for him. And for the first time in 93 years, this fabled race is won by one of their own. Charles Leclerc wins the Monaco Grand Prix to achieve his dream. Victory in his home race. Well done, Charles Leclerc. It's mission accomplished, destiny fulfilled. You've got that one forever.
We won it! Finally!
Yes! 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 Ah.
When your home race includes memories of waiting with your friends to get on the school bus, when he's looking up at the balcony where he first watched the Grand Prix, that's more than special. That's pure emotion for Charles Leclerc. And the party starts right now for Monaco's favourite son, and even the Prince is getting in on the action, because when one of your own have won the most famous Grand Prix of the lot, you've got a party.
All of the cars except the Haas are on the Inters. The two Haas's are on those X-Wets. Will that work out for them? We'll have to find out.
The 9th round of the season begins in 5 lights time. And the Canadian Grand Prix is underway. They crawl off the line with George Russell chopping across Max Verstappen as they make their way to turn number 1. The plumes of spray are raised and the top 4 are in the same position. Fernando Alonso gets past Daniel Ricciardo to the apex of turn 2. A huge amount of standing water on the racetrack as they squeeze the throttle. Further back we go, and you can see Sergio Perez close there with Gasly.
Slightly sliding, Gasly coming across him a little bit, all trying to find a bit of space on a narrow circuit.
Magnussen is going all the way to the front of the field as it stands. He's passing people for fun, and he's up 7 places from where he started.
Both of them making good gains. 7 places for Magnussen, 5 for Hülkenberg. Ocon flinging the car through. The grip level's just so low. Magnussen's past Hamilton.
Magnussen gets another one. He is having the time of his life.
So this level of rain is the worst we expect.
We go on board with a man on a mission. Denmark's Kevin Magnussen about to take P5 when he stands on the brakes. He's in another league right now on that full wet tyre.
Great fun for Magnussen, who's got more grip than anyone around him. Now on the tail of Oscar Piastri, who can't turn that McLaren, and K-Mag just squeezes on the throttle, and he's going to be with the McLaren in 4th position. He's round the McLaren in 4th position on the exit.
We had a lot of fun with Kevin Magnussen, but now Haas have conceded that it's time. Oh, it's slow, it's so slow. And after all of that overtaking, it's a slow stop for Kevin Magnussen, who sees all of that hard work undone. Can Norris line up for the overtake? Here's the opportunity for Lando Norris, who started in 3rd, trying to claim 2nd place. How powerful is the DRS? There's your answer. Lando Norris gets past Max Verstappen and takes 2nd place in the Grand Prix.
This is an opportunity. Russell's not had to defend from the DRS yet.
This is the battle for the lead. Norris moving past, under braking and going through. George Russell is over the chicane, but he's in 2nd place now. It might be about to come 3rd position because he's lost the lead. Verstappen's gone by and Lando Norris leads the Canadian Grand Prix.
Piastri in the same car now is going to find the issue that Lewis Hamilton is finding.
Oh, car off the road and into the barrier. Logan Sargent with damage to the Williams. The safety car is deployed, and there is Logan Sargent. Verstappen, Russell and Piastri, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, come into the pits.
Red Bull's pit crew normally so good. Russell was released very quickly.
Oh, it's tight, but they just cover off the Mercedes, and they will leave the pits in the same order that they entered. And the driver who had disappeared from Verstappen and Russell and Piastri now comes into the pits as Verstappen, Russell and Piastri go past.
So this is going to be close then, because Norris has lost a load of time behind the safety car. There you can see Verstappen.
Max Verstappen is going to retake the lead. There's that line. They were racing to that point. McLaren versus McLaren. Lando Norris is P3. We have most of the cars, all of the cars on intermediate. Charles Leclerc has risked the hard tyres. He's hoping for something truly extraordinary. The rain is closing in nearby, and Verstappen has aced the restart. Let's look at the overtakes further back. One Williams still left in the Grand Prix is Alex Albon, and he is fighting his way past the RB, fighting his way past the Alpine, and that is dramatic stuff. To get up to 9th, he got past Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon.
One of the great moves. Brilliant stuff.
The last 3 cars on intermediate tyres are the first 3 cars in the Grand Prix.
It's going to be a pit stop race. In goes Verstappen, in goes Russell. No, Norris stays out. Big decision there for McLaren. Hamilton does the fastest middle sector of the race. He was 1 second quicker than Verstappen in the middle sector as Verstappen had an in-lap.
That looks slow for George Russell as he rejoins and Red Bull cover off the move. You can still see it's really slippy at this part of the circuit. Norris has been firing this car around the 14 turns of Montreal. Has he built himself a gap as he comes into the pits? So you lose 18 seconds. You've got the pit stop as well. Remember, tyre temperature will be an issue. Lando Norris on the right, Max Verstappen on the left-hand side of your picture. You've got a slightly wet pit exit, but you've got Verstappen going through turn number 1, and Lando Norris is going to be standing on the power in the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix for a second, but the tyres aren't up to temperature, and it was worth the gamble, but Verstappen retakes first place in the race. Okay, Lando Norris, there's the lock-up. Does that open it for George Russell? Nothing between the two British drivers. Lando Norris under serious pressure now. He jumped Russell with the pit stop, an inventive strategy for McLaren, but there's nothing between the two of them. It's drying all the time. The error into the hairpin opens the door for George Russell to take second place in the Grand Prix.
Oh, Russell's gone in deep, has he?
Yes, he has. Does he open the door? Lando Norris is off the racing line, but he's back into second place. Russell goes off the road. Lando goes off the racing line, and they're scrambling over the road for second place. It swaps again.
Yeah, clambering over the curbs. Then it got damp on the exit, and that's when Norris came through fighting the car.
Perez has brought out the yellow flag. He went deep. He did continue. And the rear wing has taken a battering. Oh, off the road goes Carlos Sainz, and he is rejoining Alex Albon involved in that. He's just to the right-hand side, I believe. Do we have here once again? It's a safety car out on the circuit. So this is going to be, first of all, Sergio Perez got deep, got wide onto the wet part of the circuit, spinning to the wall.
So Sainz has his own moment. Oh, it's gutting for Albon.
So unlucky. George Russell comes into the pits. He brings his teammate as well. A new set of slick tyres. The green flag flies at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We go racing all the way to the end now. That is perfectly timed for the three-time world champion. And so we're looking at the battle with the second McLaren. The man from Melbourne staying ahead, but for how much longer? Russell trying to power around the outside. They're close to contact. They're nearly banging wheels into the corner. Russell rejoins. Piastri stays ahead, P3. And Lewis Hamilton's roaring by as well, up to fourth place. Meanwhile, in the battle for the podium places, Lewis Hamilton has the DRS, and that Mercedes does get ahead before the braking zone. Can Russell get by this time around? That's his aim. That's what he's done. Russell gets past, up to fourth position.
Let's see what happened to Yuki.
Chasing down Esteban Ocon, but he went off the road at turn 8, put it flat to the floor, spins the car, is narrowly avoided by those behind. Russell versus Hamilton, the two silver arrows heading to the final chicane.
We are racing. Just remember, it goes without saying, keep it clean, please.
He had the warning, but he got the place. For the 60th time in Formula One, Max Verstappen takes the win. Red Bull back on top. Max Verstappen wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Lando Norris is second, and it's George Russell across the line to complete the podium. After his worst result of the season when he saw the checkered flag in Monaco, he has returned to the top step in Montreal. The battle in Barcelona is 5 lights away. And the Spanish Grand Prix is underway. Lando Norris immediately trying to deal with Max Verstappen. He tries to chop across, but what a launch off the line that was from the World Championship leader, who's going to have an opportunity to go to the inside. Who's bravest on the brakes? Oh my word, around the outside to take the lead. George Russell, what a start. That is absolutely incredible stuff. We were watching Norris, we were watching Verstappen, but Russell somehow goes from fourth on the grid to the lead. He has moved up 3 places in the opening 600 metres of the race. Then it's Max Verstappen in second. Our pole sitter, Lando Norris, drops to third.
Yeah, you see, Max just got that initial drive off the line, on the grass actually, as he's trying to give enough space for Lando. And as these two guys are going wheel to wheel, George gets a mega toe, full commitment, and around the outside.
Might be our best opportunity now, Max. Think wisely.
Russell, super defensive. Max Verstappen trying to roar around the outside. The leading two in the Grand Prix go wheel to wheel, and we have a new leader. His name is Max Verstappen.
And then there's mega toe, slipstream, DRS. George goes defensive, and then Max goes, okay, I'm going around the outside.
So, as you saw on the opening lap, it was Charles Leclerc ahead of Carlos Sainz. Now we see the move. Sainz leaving the track and gaining an advantage has been reviewed by race control, and there is no further investigation for this.
Yeah, there was definitely contact, and Carlos pulling Max Verstappen around the outside. That is a great manoeuvre to see. As we see Mercedes making the call.
George Russell taking the last of the life from that Pirelli tyres. Carlos Sainz was told, do the opposite to Lewis Hamilton. Doesn't look the quickest at the back there. Right rear is causing trouble, and will that be a position gained? Oh my word, that is close into the fast lane. But the Mercedes just gets away with it. Is there an opportunity now for Lando Norris?
Lando, it's possible we could cover Russell this lap. What do you think?
No, I think we need to go get Max.
Lando Norris is fighting for the win in the Spanish Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton has the DRS. They're building up to 200 miles per hour. Sainz knows it, makes the move. Hamilton to the inside though. Hamilton risking it all. We get contact between the two of them. We get Hamilton going by. And there's another one for the highlight reel. So many moves at turn one that show you the skill of the drivers in the field.
Wrapping up. Check the onboard instantly.
Copy.
Well, in fairness, there was definitely a little bit of rubbing, but some would say that's racing.
Norris has been called to the pit lane. Box. You can see how much he's given up by extending the stint. He'll hope he can get that benefit back with the fresher mediums.
His heart is going to sink when he pulls out at the end of the pit lane, finds himself looking at the back of Sainz, but he will be on those fresher, younger, new tyres.
Why are we on plan A?
We're in line with everyone else. That was the choice.
Here's the move. We're hearing from Charles Leclerc, but we're watching Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris, who goes through and claims fourth position. He got the great run further back in the pack. A man with fresh tyres taking sixth place. Charles Leclerc not happy with the strategy initially, but he gets past the Alpine. That's his minimum expectation. At the lower end of the points is Oscar Piastri on the medium tyre, trying to get past Sergio Perez, and Piastri will be to the inside, and Piastri will be passed. Under braking, and the Australian driver takes ninth position. There's been another pass for McLaren. This is Oscar Piastri moving past Esteban Ocon. That is how he took eighth place, and you would expect, given the evidence of car performance so far, he will make light work of Pierre Gasly. In the next couple of laps, that's the car. That's a good exit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's the opportunity now for Lando Norris, and that is a slam dunk move. Lando Norris able to pass the Mercedes with a clean move. Can he do the same thing to George Russell? Such a dominant run, Verstappen, in recent times. He's won 50 of the last 75 Grand Prix. That is laid on the brakes, and that's the move that we predicted was going to come Oscar Piastri's way. That is how he took seventh place.
Checo Perez on those fresher tyres. We can expect to see him now working his way past Alonso onto Stroll and finally working his way back into the top 10.
Side by side we go with Lando Norris. George Russell went mega defensive. Lando Norris goes around the outside of turn number 3, uses that fresher rubber, and now Russell tries to come back around the outside. He'll get the inside line for turn number 5. All of this battling is giving an advantage to Max Verstappen out front, and it was a brilliant battle, a battle that continues. Traction race, fresher rubber, inside line, and third place for Lando Norris, and they've been fighting for most of the lap, DC.
They've been fighting for most of their racing careers, and that is Formula 1 2024. You've got to love it.
That's a pass for Sergio Perez, who gets past Esteban Ocon, and he is now 9 seconds away from Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, well, Perez, that's got to be his clear goal from the team, to try and work his way into that 8 seconds of the Alpine of Gasly. Every point is a prisoner.
Oh, Lewis Hamilton once again finds his way alongside and past. This time it's his teammate at the first turn, and it's a place on the podium for the 7-time world champion.
DRS coming from a long way away, but with a big overspeed. George defends the inside, and Lewis goes, you know what, I believe in this tyre. I've got the confidence. I know you're on the back foot on that hard tyre. And, well, Alex, we know what the debate will be in the debrief from George's side. It'll be like, why did you put me on the hard?
So from the battle for first and second to the Ferrari swapping the cars round. Mercedes, they battled it all the way through turn number 1. Ferrari, well, they just swapped the cars. And that's Charles Leclerc back to where he started the Grand Prix. He's in 5th place. Oh my word, gather it together. Alexander Albon, he can't do it, and he is in the gravel trap. Seems to take forever to get back out of it. Here he is Max Verstappen out of the final corner for the final time. He's been pushed all the way, but Max Verstappen wins once again in Formula One and takes the checkered flag in Spain. Hurried home by Lando Norris, who takes second place, 2.2 seconds at the checkered flag. Lewis Hamilton is about to climb on a Formula One podium for the first time this year, and there won't be much between fourth and fifth over the line, but it will be George Russell who keeps the Ferrari at bay by 0.3 of a second.
Yes, nice. Oh, yeah, we're definitely not the quickest out there today, but we did everything well, strategy, so yes.
And for the 61st time at the venue where he began it all for Red Bull, Max Verstappen celebrates a victory, and you can see sometimes it's all a little bit easy and it's simply lovely on the radio. He's being chased home for every win that he takes at the moment. The green flag at the back tells us we go racing in 5 lights time. And the Austrian Grand Prix is underway. Perfect reaction time for Max Verstappen. He's got what he needed off the line. George Russell will put pressure on Lando Norris, but the top three were as they were. That was brave around the outside for Lewis Hamilton, but did he overtake off the road when he was battling Carlos Sainz? They'll work it out later. For second place we go with George Russell momentarily ahead, but Lando Norris with the inside line. Can Hamilton get the job done against Carlos Sainz? He can, but there'll be a question of whether he did so off the road. Max Verstappen checking out front as Oscar Piastri goes wheel to wheel with Sergio Perez. It's Verstappen, then Norris, Russell, Hamilton up a place, Sainz down one, and Piastri climbed up to 6th position.
Perfect start once again for Verstappen. Piastri is ushered wide to the gravel. He's going to lose a place to Leclerc as well, and Perez has made 2 places in that, right down in 6th place.
Nose change for Charles Leclerc.
Let's see on board with Leclerc now. That's his teammate ahead, Hamilton on the side. Leclerc gets the whack with Piastri then.
At the moment, Lewis Hamilton trying to make the pass. He's been so racy at the start of this one. Past Carlos Sainz on the first lap. On the third lap, he's going to be past his teammate. And Lewis Hamilton is up to 3rd position. His best start to a Grand Prix so far this year in terms of places gained. He's on the attack, but George Russell wants the place back. Will they play fairly? Wasn't even a contest. Russell retakes P3.
Okay, Lewis, we're under investigation for turn 1, so we need to let Sainz past.
So there was the instruction on the radio from Pete Bonington, the race engineer for Lewis Hamilton.
He actually is still benefiting from that move at the start because Sainz has not got the DRS from Russell that he otherwise might have had, so now he's vulnerable, and here comes Hamilton on the outside.
Sainz hugged that inside line, desperate to hang on to it, and he keeps track position for the moment.
Yeah, both of them will be losing lap time. You see the battle, Piastri and Perez. And, well, we know Piastri is not happy, looking to go around the outside.
Can he do it? Yes, he takes the place, and Piastri forced to go the long way round, and he gets the position back.
Let's see what happened to Zhou. Through goes Daniel Ricciardo. Oh, and a hit.
What the is he doing?
So we believe it was Alonso. It was Alonso. Alonso into the side to Zhou. Zhou not happy at all as he rejoins. Alonso's been given a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Zhou Guan Yu.
These two Alpines, they're not the best of mates, are they? So Gasly has a look to the inside, and Ocon just sort of wafts towards the inside, says, don't try that one. It's so easy to have a lock up there and clatter into the car ahead, but Gasly managed to measure that one quite well.
He's got to pass Fernando faster, losing time now.
Copy that. Ocon finally does pass Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, did so at turn number 1. Alonso trying to come back. Huge amount of speed. One Alpine has gone through. So is the second one. Alonso has run out of tyres as we run wheel to wheel. And again, the Alpines are providing us with on-track action. The team won't like it, but it's brilliant entertainment for us. Ocon on the left-hand side, on board with Pierre Gasly. One driver on the left leaving the team, and that was a chop across the bows there of Gasly, who's now trying to go to the outside line. He's trying to keep 2 wheels on the racetrack. He's done that. The outside line will become the inside line, and Ocon can't stay in the battle. Gasly gets by and takes 8th place. That is Oscar Piastri getting to the apex first, and Piastri worked hard for that move, coming through and taking what is currently 3rd place away from Lewis Hamilton.
Verstappen sweeps in, Norris sweeps in just behind. Lando's got a set of mediums.
Hold on, was that slow? Was that slow? Sorry, Charlie and Kelly across. Was that a slow stop?
They waited for the release, took no chances, so that will definitely have played to the advantage of McLaren.
Yeah, left rear, very slow coming off, and then, because it was slow, he then had to wait for Norris as well once the left rear was attached. They've had the helping hand of a slow stop.
He's gone wide.
Oh, he did lock up. Did he make the corner? Oh, my word. Pushing on the outlap there. The gap was 7 seconds. It's now 1.7 seconds. This is where he got past in the sprint yesterday. Lando Norris, is he brave immediately again? This time Verstappen covers it off. This Grand Prix has come alive. Is it late again? Is it great again for Lando Norris, who tries to slow it down, but he overtook him off the road? What a late lunge it was, but he'll have to give that place back, and he knows it.
He can't keep moving after I've moved. It's just dangerous. Oh, we're going to have a big shot. He forced me to go wide and look off.
Battles for the lead decided late on here between Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. It went to the last lap in 2016 between the Mercedes pair, and now on lap 63, Lando Norris slows it down. That one will count if he can stand on the power. Max Verstappen was off the road to maintain the place. There'll be all sorts of investigations there. What a battle between the top two in Formula One.
Yeah, he has to give the position back. I was ahead at the apex.
Yeah, and he went off track.
Game on once again. This time it's the outside line. Oh, they made contact. He's got a puncture. He's damaged his front wing. The leading contenders for the World Championship come together at turn 3. The crowd can't believe it. And George Russell will be looking at the gap. He's the man in third after Verstappen and Norris come together chasing the lead.
Incredible. Norris has got a puncture as well, has he? Or is he just going around Verstappen, who's crawling? Verstappen's going to tumble all the way down. I think Norris is struggling.
Norris gets to the lead of the race, but what condition is the car in?
George, you can win this. You can win this, George.
Just let me drive.
And Norris is struggling. George Russell is catching the pair of them. The man who's got one victory in Formula One might be about to take the lead.
Nice. Oh my God.
There it is. There's the moment. George Russell into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Can you believe what we're seeing? Verstappen and Norris fighting lap after lap, and it's the door swung wide open for George Russell, who leads Carlos Sainz by 2.2 seconds. On board with Oscar Piastri going alongside, trying to take second place. This is absolutely unbelievable stuff. Piastri now a contender to win this Grand Prix. He's up to second. What a move. And for just the second time in Formula One, the British driver will see the flag first, and George Russell wins an amazing Austrian Grand Prix. He beats Oscar Piastri home by 1.9 seconds. Carlos Sainz is back on the podium for the first time since Monaco. Another Grand Prix to remember round here. Something about this place into turn number 3 just provides endless action, endless drama, and the beneficiary, the winner, George Russell.
We're all set for the start of the British Grand Prix, halfway through the 2024 season. Lights out, away we go. George Russell gets a good getaway. Lewis Hamilton tucks in behind. Watch out for Max Verstappen on the inside of Lando Norris behind. But George Russell comfortably through the first corner into turns 2 and 3. And Verstappen has to keep a little bit of an eye on Piastri behind him. Lando Norris now putting pressure on Hamilton, but runs a wheel over the curve. Verstappen's got the outside line. That works really well for Max Verstappen. He gets in front of the McLaren.
And he's going to have a chance at passing Lewis Hamilton immediately as well. Lewis checks the mirror down the Wellington straight here towards Brooklands, and he doesn't need to go defensive. Verstappen, though, has made a crucial pass there on Norris. Yeah, Lando just puts himself in a bit of a precarious position there with Lewis Hamilton nowhere near alongside to commit to that on the outside. He was just drifting wide, and Max picked up the pieces nicely.
Now, let's see what contact here for Alex Albon.
Oh, that's the contact. So it was in the melee with Hülkenberg, but it was actually Fernando Alonso that he hit.
Rain expected in 7 laps, lasting for 10 minutes.
And if it's heavy rain, 10 minutes of it is going to really change things.
Charles Leclerc still keeping the pressure on the green Aston Martin as they head down towards no corner, and Charles Leclerc has a good dive down the inside this time, and Stroll didn't seem to fight that too hard. Charles Leclerc zips past, made it look quite easy.
And this could be a chance for Lando.
You're absolutely right. He was quick through Beckers, quicker than I expected. He's got DRS. Lando Norris is going on the attack, and he passes Max Verstappen. Massive cheers from the grandstands as Lando Norris gets past his huge rival. Norris up into third. And the Australian is really getting that much closer. Whether he's going to be as close as Lando Norris was, let's see. He's got DRS in operation. He's getting that extra straight line speed as they head down towards Stowe Corner. He goes for the inside, and yeah, he's through as well, as long as he can make the corner. It's a bit slippery.
It's raining. It's really slippery. He took the inside line and then immediately thought he'd gone in deep. Look, the umbrellas are going up. DRS is still enabled, and Hamilton's going to get it, and he's going to draft straight past Russell here.
George Russell trying to defend from his teammate. Can he do anything? I don't think he can. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the British Grand Prix from his teammate. Mercedes still running 1-2 in the damp conditions, but Hamilton becomes race leader once again here at Silverstone. We've got a long way to go in this race, and conditions are continue to change. Teammate George Russell, both off, both run wide.
And we'll look out for Norris, who stays on the track. Is he going to close right into the back as well? Russell rejoins just ahead of Norris. Piastri's off in the background. It's really chucking it down, and none of them have pitted. Norris to the inside.
Lando Norris takes second place. That was brilliant stuff by Lando Norris. He saw the two Mercedes running deep, and he managed to brake a little earlier.
The track is getting slower and slower. We're now running about 108%. If it hits around 112 before we get through this pocket, then they will have to box. Otherwise, everyone's trying to hold on. Rain, gap, and then big rain coming later.
Look how close Lando Norris is to Lewis Hamilton. There's a real chance he's going to overtake in an unusual area. He's done it. Lando Norris now takes the lead of the British Grand Prix and gets through that corner where there were so many incidents, and now Hamilton's actually back under pressure from his teammate.
So Hamilton found the grip first. Now he just looks like he's struggling. Russell's there. Piastri around the outside. Can he do the Verstappen move on the first lap? Yes, he can, if he can get the power down. George keeps it in on the inside.
Oh, Piastri gets the place, wobble, and he's up into third position. This is so tight. And it is wet here, be careful. Otherwise, it's so easy to go and run wide.
Hamilton's in trouble. Piastri's got a beautiful line on the exit. This could be a McLaren 1-2.
It does look like it. Oscar Piastri getting alongside Lewis Hamilton. Just has to finish the move. Down into Stowe Corner, and he's done it. He's into second place as long as he can hold it together. Yes, that corner's been working very well for him.
Verstappen's going to pit, and Red Bull now roll the dice, which may work because it looks like this is the time to come in for intermediates.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that might be a very good move to come in right now. Sainz coming in as well. It's only Norris who's told to come in, but this could hurt Piastri later. Hamilton's told to come in.
Mercedes double stack. Russell's in behind him. There's Verstappen behind Hamilton, but now ahead of George Russell.
So that is a good, important gain for Max Verstappen.
Piastri will be struggling on this in-lap. He was looking really good as the rain fell, but he was 20 seconds away from a dry pace on the last lap. So this is really going to hurt Oscar Piastri.
And Piastri, you could see, look at the order. He's just dropping down that order. And we shall wait to see whether Hulkenberg... No, he's out well in front of Hulkenberg, in fact. On board with Kevin Magnussen. What was he up to? Oh! My goodness, he did well to save that.
I have seen many a car end up on that inside barrier. You get out wide and look at the moisture coming off that the painted surface on the outside.
Oh, Russell's being told retire the car. George Russell in the pits. Oh my goodness, the man who started from pole position, who took victory last week in Austria. He is out of the British Grand Prix. Oh, he's never had a podium here, and it continues, this time with a DNF. Oh, shake of the head for George.
Hamilton's in and Norris stays out. He comes past the commentary box.
So this is fascinating. Is this going to be the right decision to go onto the slick tyres on this lap? Interestingly, Verstappen has come in as well.
We need to box. The soft is better now. Any slick tyre.
In he comes. This has got to be perfect.
It has.
Hamilton was a second and a half quicker in the middle sector. McLaren might have blown it by staying one extra lap, and Lewis is going to come through if Lando has a decent pit stop with tyres fired up and a chance to win. Lando's so long in his box as well.
It's not a great stop, and Hamilton's just going out of the club corner and heading on down past the start-finish straight. He's going past us, and Lewis Hamilton, I think, is going to be in front as they come out. Yes, there's Hamilton. Hamilton comes out in front of Lando Norris, and the pit stop that Mercedes chose was perfect from that point of view. It has switched the two leaders around, and it's multiple British Grand Prix winner Lewis Hamilton who is now back in front. Watch them through here. If the gap closes between Verstappen and Lando Norris through this part, it stays fairly... No, it's actually a good exit from Max there, though, and the DRS will be coming in. This is a chance to close right in on Lando Norris. Here comes Max Verstappen. He moves to the outside, and he makes the move. He's up into second place, and Lando was not able to fight that. He is about to head for victory as he comes into the final corners here at Silverstone. The crowds are going crazy. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix. He takes his 9th win at Silverstone, his first win in nearly 1,000 days in Formula One, his 104th victory ever. Absolutely brilliant.
Get in there, Lewis! You're the man!
Thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. It means a lot to get this one. A big thank you to all the fans here. Love you guys.
And what a sign-off for our joint trajectory here on the British Grand Prix. We couldn't wish for anything better.
This is a lovely moment, isn't it? And you can see the emotion, even though we can't see his face, you can feel the emotion in Lewis with his dad. And this is a really special moment. Hamilton has taken victory at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, his most successful track in history, and he's done it with Mercedes on a key day. Wet and dry, difficult times. Lewis has controlled it all and taken the win.
Green flag at the back means it is time. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in Budapest. And the Hungarian Grand Prix is underway. Lando Norris chops across his teammate, but it's a good reaction time for Oscar Piastri. The two cars go side by side with Piastri down to the inside. Verstappen trying to go the long way round. Piastri takes the lead of the race. Lando Norris in second. Verstappen off the road as he rejoins, having gone off all four wheels. Trying to take advantage and take second place is Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen funnels wide Lewis Hamilton. Oscar Piastri leads. Lando Norris retakes third.
Max has to give the position. We're on it.
I was ahead at the apex and he just opened the wheel for a good force off.
Understood, Max.
Norris now, who's already lost the place on the inside, he's exactly like Barcelona for him. Now he's got to look to the outside, and there comes Max steaming round the outside. Lando could have done the same thing to his teammate, technically, and just kept it pinned, used the runoff area like Max has done, but he was fairer in that example, backed off.
Here's a chance for Sainz up against Fernando Alonso. These two have raced each other already this year. It got very rough in China, but that's a tidy move and an easy pass for the winner of the Australian Grand Prix.
Max, the incident is under investigation. I think our recommendation is you let this go. We can talk about it later.
Why can't they not just say what they think and then we decide? That's the...
He's slowing down, they will switch positions, and Lando Norris takes second place. Red Bull decide not to risk the penalty. Hamilton in, an 8-time winner of this Grand Prix. He's managed to keep pace with those ahead, and he's the first one of the top 5 to come in and change tyres. He goes from medium to hard on lap 17, and everyone now is going to be forced to respond.
Let's see Max's stop.
Not ideal. 3 seconds for a team that are used to getting it around 2 seconds. In comes Sainz, one of our 6 different winners so far this year. He's on the hard tyre as well. Verstappen rejoins behind Piastri, behind Norris, and a switch for the current podium places. Hamilton steps onto what would be a net third place. Fighting it into 11 off the road.
Wow. Play cool, be cool, Oscar.
That's what brought Lando Norris back into play. Here comes Verstappen, DRS wide open, wasn't able to shape for the move before. Is he laid on the brakes? He is. Hamilton covers it off, but locks up doing so. Will that open the door for Verstappen? Are they going to go wheel to wheel once again? Hamilton on the left-hand side. Verstappen trying to sweep around the outside and take the place. He goes off the road. He can't slow it down, and it's Hamilton staying in third for the moment.
A -5 brake pads, and the thing just doesn't turn. It's unbelievable.
And Hamilton again in early, says a long way to take the tyre, but he comes in, and so does Charles Leclerc.
Looking for the undercut on Verstappen.
Unusual because he went longer in the first stint, but they've just tried to catch Red Bull out with that very short second stint. Good stop from Ferrari, good stop from Mercedes as well, very sensible on both.
It's quite impressive how we let ourselves get undercut and just completely race.
Lando Norris will be the McLaren that gets the fresh tyres first.
Can he undercut Piastri from here? 2 seconds.
That's the question, isn't it? Can he get onto the fresher rubber? Can he put the pressure on that way? They chose to bring in their leader in the championship.
Okay, Oscar, Lando has pitted to cover Hamilton, to make sure he covers Hamilton. We'll manage that situation. Best pace from you now, best pace.
Yeah, Sainz dives off into the pit lane as well, which will unleash Norris round the final corner, and I think Lando is going to lead the race.
This is going to be a huge moment. Lando Norris goes past his teammate, and it's going to be the net lead of the Grand Prix. They told Piastri it was to cover off Hamilton. Is that the moment that has decided our winner today?
Okay, Lando, Oscar has just pitted. We'd like to re-establish the order at your convenience.
Oh, big moments into the gravel for Oscar Piastri. That is more than you want to be dipping the wheels. Okay, Max Verstappen comes into the pits to finish this sequence of stops with massive consequences for who wins this Grand Prix and who's on the podium as well.
Well, that's some gentle introduction.
No, mate, don't give me that now. You guys give me this strategy, okay? I'm trying to rescue myself.
We need you to save more tyres, please, and we do want to let Oscar through.
We should have boxed him first then, surely, no?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it does. For me, maybe.
Game on for fourth place. Could be the final place on the podium. They're fighting on the racetrack once again. Max Verstappen to the apex first. And he's got the place from the Ferrari. He will go up against Lewis Hamilton next. One position gained as Verstappen tries to minimise the damage in the points in the World Championship and tries to climb back onto the podium.
And Lando, we still think you're using the tyres too much. Turn 4, turn 11, and the rear's exit. Turn 6, turn 9. Oscar's 3.5. I know you'll do the right thing.
As Verstappen, well, will he dive this time?
This time he gets there, he locks up and he makes contact with his old rival. Verstappen and Hamilton come together again, battling for the final place on the podium, and they're into each other to drop Max Verstappen off the road down to 5th place.
He moved under braking.
I'm not even going to get into a radio fight with the other teams, Max. We'll let the stewards do their thing. It's childish on the radio. Childish.
I didn't move the steering, mate.
Copy, mate. So that was Verstappen. He arrived out of control into that one. The way to win a championship is not by yourself. It's with the team. You're going to need Oscar, and you're going to need the team.
Lando Norris is backing off. He was on the cusp of a second Grand Prix victory, and it's a situation that DC knows from his career. A swap of positions. Oscar Piastri goes back through into the lead of a Grand Prix. The man from Melbourne leads. He was a champion in Formula 3, a champion in Formula 2. He announced himself in Formula 1 with a tweet that said he would not be driving for another team. It turned out that he would be driving for McLaren, and he's taking that McLaren to the top step of the podium. The Australian driver advances all the way to the checkered flag. Oscar Piastri wins for the first time in Formula 1. It's a McLaren 1-2. And the driver who grew up hearing V10 engines in his back garden because he lives so close to the track in Melbourne is now one of the winning group as Lewis Hamilton claims his 200th podium in Formula One.
Well done, Oscar, well done. Checkered flag. Well done, buddy.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks for the coordination. Well done. Maximum points. Really good weekend.
It is Oscar Piastri, the 115th Formula One Grand Prix winner. McLaren's first 1-2 in 3 seasons. Lewis Hamilton making history on the podium once again for the 200th time. And Formula One is underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. Great start for Lewis Hamilton. He's up to second place. He's immediately past Sergio Perez. Charles Leclerc holds the lead. The 2 McLarens are side by side, and he's onto the gravel in the background for Lando Norris. Gives an opportunity to George Russell. Side by side we go with Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez into Eau Rouge. No, Hamilton's ahead. He gets the move completed. Leclerc, then Hamilton, then Perez, then Piastri. Wide moment for Lando Norris. Cost him places. Max Verstappen up 1 position to 10th place as Perez fights back, looking to reclaim second position. Charles Leclerc has the lead for the moment. Can George Russell go around the outside of the McLaren? So close. It is Leclerc, then Hamilton, then Perez, the top 3.
Norris losing 3 positions at the start, running wide into the gravel, and look, just behind him, Max Verstappen has gained a couple of places already. So there's only 2 cars between Norris and Verstappen at this early stage.
This was the 5 red lights going out, and immediately Perez knew he was in trouble.
Yeah, and from Hamilton's position here, it's actually easy to send it in and nerf the back of the Ferrari ahead, but he measures that part well, gives Perez space on the exit as Norris runs wide and loses all the momentum at the start of a long run. Verstappen right in behind Alex Albon. He's got a bit of downforce on that Red Bull. He's got a lot more than the Williams. He's going to sweep all the way around the outside.
Outside line to the inside line, passing at will and making places early on because he knows he needs to go on the charge. And does Albon fancy a go back? No. And that's the side of a 7-time world champion, getting closer and closer still. He's won this Grand Prix on 4 occasions. He's trying to take the lead from Charles Leclerc. Now with the help of DRS, out of the slipstream to the race lead for Lewis Hamilton. And we have a new leader. The 7-time world champion is at the front of the field. Hamilton leads the Belgian Grand Prix. High pressure for all of the crews in the pit lane. Mercedes have delivered, and in the background, it's a 2.7 stop for Verstappen in the Red Bull. Hamilton's come in from the race lead. So is Sergio Perez. Also in there in the background is Oscar Piastri, who was told to come in. So a crucial moment that releases Sainz, Norris, and the new race leader is Charles Leclerc, who finds himself back on to the racetrack. Lewis Hamilton back onto the racetrack. Now, where is Russell? Where is Verstappen? And this is crucial. Russell's getting past Oscar Piastri. So going to the new rubber earlier on has worked for George Russell. Can Piastri do something about it immediately?
So can he do the move that Russell did on Tsunoda? Russell checks the mirrors. The McLaren is right with him.
They've got the same power unit in the back of the car, but Piastri has to go on the attack here. Vital that he gets to the inside of Russell for his Grand Prix. He needed to make the move, and he did. It's only for 9th. Could be greater points later on. What an enthralling Belgian Grand Prix. We go onto the Kemmel Straight, building up to 200 miles an hour. And the orange McLaren ducks out of the slipstream, trying to move ahead against Sergio Perez. And Piastri has another pass as he moves up to 6th position. He is a contender to win this one. As Lando Norris comes in to make his pit stop, leaves into the fast lane he goes, 2.3 seconds. And Lando Norris lights up the rear tyres, goes back to work.
This is into Stavolo for Sainz. It's a big snap on the entry. Hamilton radioed and said the rear tyres were going, but they certainly are on the hard-shod Ferrari as well.
That's more of a gravel brush than I was expecting. He will be lucky to keep it pointing in the right direction. As we climb the hill, is this the best opportunity for George Russell, the winner of the Austrian Grand Prix earlier in the year? Perez knows it, goes defensive, nothing he can do. DRS open, Russell breezes by and takes 4th place.
Think we'll have a 1 stop.
So George Russell asking the team to consider extending. Lewis Hamilton coming in for a vital stop. The race leader comes into the pits. Mercedes go to work. And it's a 2.4 second stop to give himself a great chance of covering off Charles Leclerc. Norris trying to get past the first of 2 Red Bulls he will hope that he overtakes in this Grand Prix. Perez is the driver, he is passing, and Norris gets up to 6th position. He will try and go chasing after Max Verstappen. Verstappen's trying to catch his teammate, Oscar Piastri.
Not much quicker than him. Am I talking to me or not?
It's close. It is close.
Piastri's close to Leclerc again.
Now, Piastri's had one dry run at this. Can he get by this time around? Charles Leclerc looking in the mirrors. Piastri wants that inside line. Leclerc is not going to give it to him. So going the long way round and taking the position is Oscar Piastri, who fights his way to third. And now he's going to heap the pressure on the Mercedes. Russell's tyre saving. Hamilton's trying to catch him. And they're going to have to deal with the pace of Oscar Piastri. George Russell called the shots, wanted a one-stop. Everyone else came in for fresher rubber. He's trying to nurse that hard tyre all the way to the end. That's the good part of the sentence. The bad part of the sentence is that Lewis Hamilton is 3.7 seconds away. Here's Sainz trying to improve from 8th to 7th, and he's done it. He gets by Sergio Perez, and that long stint has given him a points gain up against the Mexican driver, P7 for the Ferrari man.
And Russell is getting good drive off La Source. Again, he opens up the gap towards 7/10. And if Hamilton can't come past Russell, he'll at least have the DRS to defend from Piastri, who is getting closer and closer. We're on the penultimate lap, and I don't think he's going to be able to make it.
He's not there, Jolien. How can this be possible from George Russell? And it's Russell versus Hamilton, Mercedes versus Mercedes, with a McLaren close by to win the Belgian Grand Prix.
Hamilton has a lock-up at La Source. This is the last big opportunity with DRS on the horizon over the crest of Radion. And again, Russell's done enough on the exit. He's holding Hamilton at arm's length.
Russell immediately knows that he needs to break the toe. Lewis Hamilton is the driver with DRS. Oscar Piastri is in third position. How close, how brave, how late dare Hamilton go? He can't get there. He can't make the move. And George Russell is closing in on one of the most extraordinary and audacious strategy calls that we've seen in years in Formula One. It's going to go all the way to the checkered flag. One chicane remains. Lewis Hamilton is chasing George Russell all the way to the end of the Grand Prix, but it'll be a Grand Prix claimed inexplicably with driving brilliance from the wheel of George Russell, who takes one of the greatest drives you will ever witness to the top step of the podium. George Russell wins the Belgian Grand Prix. All the other big teams went for a two-stopper with both drivers. Mercedes heard the call. Russell demanded one. Russell takes his third career victory by half a second across the line to deny Lewis Hamilton. The podium is completed by Oscar Piastri. How did he do that?
Amazing strategy. You guys are the best. Come on.
It's a pretty good drive.
Yeah, that was right. Yes! Woohoo!
Tyre whisperer.
Tyre whisperer.
We finish before the summer break with 7 different winners, maiden winners, in Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. An extraordinary, record-breaking, extending win at Silverstone for Lewis Hamilton. But George Russell, one of the 7, with an audacious run on a tyre that no one thought would last. But he made it work. Here comes the green flag at the back. We go racing in Zandvoort in 5. Lights time. And the Dutch Grand Prix is underway. What sort of reaction is it? It's a poor start for Lando Norris, and Max Verstappen takes the lead. Once again, Norris has not found the launch he was looking for, and the home hero hits the front of the field. George Russell is up to third position. It's Verstappen, then Norris, then Russell, as the field try to make their way through the first turns on the racetrack for the first time to the inside low line for Piastri. Can't make it work. It's Verstappen, then Norris, then Russell.
Yeah, well, that's the worst case scenario for Lando Norris there, and also George Russell licking his chops, because I think that Oscar must have got boxed in, and he's taken advantage of that.
So, lights go out. Norris's reaction is good, but he just goes nowhere in that first phase of the launch, and he is already cleanly behind Verstappen. You can see Russell and Piastri side by side. You can hear the chattering. He just cannot get the power down.
You're still seeing the battles going on, so this is all a result of Yuki Tsunoda not being able to get past the Haas. And now he's under pressure from Lewis Hamilton, who's trying to move forward. He'll get to the apex first. That's a tidy pass. You don't get many into turn 11, but Hamilton has provided us with the first one of the day, and he climbs up to 12th position. round the outside for Carlos Sainz, places the Ferrari well, gets past two-time world champion Fernando Alonso.
Nice move, using the bit of banking there at turn 1.
New team principal, Oliver Oakes, who's about to see his car come under serious pressure from the Ferrari Carlos Sainz, who stays in the slipstream for as long as possible. Gasly's going to fight this one around the outside. Tough moment on the apex. Gasly keeps his foot in the Alpine. And who's going to get there into turn number 2? Still they go side by side, and Sainz gets ahead. Another position gained. He moves up to 7th. Hamilton to the inside. Can he get to the apex first? He can. Second Aston Martin cleared. Hamilton slicing his way through the field nicely at the moment. He's making good progress at a circuit where it's not always the easiest to overtake.
Yeah, my toes are just numb. They don't grip.
Yep, copy that, man.
You always start feeling the heat. You're not feeling comfortable in the car. You're struggling, you're losing grip, and then you just see the car behind getting closer and closer, and now he's having to defend into turn 1.
It is very close. On board with Lando Norris, trying to take the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix from the home favourite. He's getting to the apex first. He's moving ahead, and all of the damage done at the start of the Grand Prix is forgotten now because Lando Norris takes the lead.
He's got such tremendous pace right now at this stage in the race. You can just see Max didn't offer a defence, but he didn't have the grip really to defend anyway.
In comes Charles Leclerc after an encouraging stint. He's going to that fresher rubber faster. Remember, we saw the fastest lap of the race, still the fastest lap of the race, by Alex Albon on that hard compounded tyre. So it's working on the Williams. The Ferrari will hope it works as well. Here is George Russell. Not having the fastest stop, slightly slow on the front there, but 3.4 seconds. What can Charles Leclerc do? Can he take advantage?
This could be close. Leclerc's done the fastest middle sector of the race so far. There he is.
And he's going to sweep around the outside. He is in the net race ahead of Oscar Piastri and also ahead of George Russell. Charles Leclerc going for the early stop, getting the benefit of the fresh rubber, and a slightly slow stop for Mercedes means the Ferrari gets ahead. Alex Albon, who has a long stint on these tyres, 26 laps to be exact. Oh, here's an opportunity. We've got overtakes everywhere you look, including around the outside to take the place for Oscar Piastri, who says goodbye to George Russell. And that is a tyre offset. That is a difference in performance writ large at turn number 1. Piastri will be trying to hunt down Charles Leclerc next. Can I interest you in cars absolutely everywhere? Look at this, a total brawl on the main straight. 3 wide into Tarzan corner will not work. Turning his way back to the points is Alex Albon, who's then being overtaken by Pierre Gasly. Gasly goes to 10th, Albon's in 11th, Alonso in 12th position, and Stroll in 13th. That one came alive. Right, let's enjoy this again. Kevin Magnussen was at the front of the field when he came out of turn 14, and he was bringing half the grid with him. That's Albon, that's Gasly, that's Fernando Alonso. 3 wide into turn 1, quite a view, and through goes Lance Stroll as well.
It's just dangerous, like really dangerous.
Alonso has an easy pass on Alex Albon. The fresher tyres paying off now for the drivers there that pitted a bit later.
Piastri stayed out longer, elongated that first stint so that he would have the chance to attack now. On the brakes into turn number 1, and Carlos Sainz trying to fight his way by. He's done so. As he got past Perez, he has, and he's taken 6th position from the Mexican driver, who's down to 7th. Russell, who started in 4th place, Hamilton, who started in 14th position, 7th and 8th at the moment for Mercedes.
Curious call to pit Russell there. He's lost a couple of places. Sainz went through, Perez has gone through. He's got 19 seconds to make up to Sergio Perez.
We still need to decide who will be in the second Sauber seat, and we know that Hülkenberg will be heading to the team that will become Audi. There's a massive difference in grip here between these 2 cars, and Pierre Gasly knew it to roar around the outside and take 9th position. That would equal his personal best in 2024. Fernando Alonso getting past Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg trying to hang on to the point here, trying to go to 23 points of the season. And Fernando Alonso says, nope, I'm going to do what Gasly did and go the long way round, employ the better traction and take 10th position. Lando said before today that he hadn't been driving like a world champion. He knows that this summer many wins have slipped away, but he has regrouped. And today, at the house that Max rebuilt, the winner's orange once again, but this time he's driving a McLaren for the second time in Formula One. Lando Norris wins. Lando Norris wins the Dutch Grand Prix with a crushing performance. And the bonus point for fastest lap. The gap in the World Championship is 70 points. Norris taking a second career win, and he had a personal best in all three sectors of the lap, a 1:13.8, as Max Verstappen on the podium at his home Grand Prix. Once again, this time it is second place. Charles Leclerc will complete the podium. He was chased home by Oscar Piastri in fourth, and that will be fifth across the line for Carlos Sainz.
Well done. Well done. Oh, very good.
Simply lovely, huh? Well done.
You did just sneak it in there as well. Fastest lap there.
Thank you. Well done, boys. Incredible job. Car was unbelievable. Thank you so much. Incredible job. Let's keep pushing.
The traditional celebration for Lando Norris. It wasn't the start that he wanted to the Grand Prix. He was forced to study the rear wing of the Red Bull for 17 long laps, but when he hit the front, it looked like no one had the answer to him. And by the end of the Grand Prix, when he was taking the bonus point for fastest lap on the 72nd and last tour, it was clear that that updated McLaren in clear air is an absolute rocket ship. And the Italian Grand Prix is underway. Lando Norris is looking at his teammate and he's got the launch that he needs. But George Russell is still a contender. Second and third are battling. Piastri blocks out Russell. Lando Norris has got to the front. Russell goes onto the grass and over the road. He momentarily takes the lead, but he'll have to feather it back. McLaren finally get the start they needed from Lando Norris. It's Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri. Russell loses out as a result of going over the road at turn number 1. It's Charles Leclerc, then Carlos Sainz as the McLarens are side by side, and Oscar Piastri's going all the way around the outside to take the lead with a bold and brilliant move. Lando still can't keep the lead on lap number 1, and he's lost second place to Charles Leclerc.
I can't believe what I've just seen. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Oscar Piastri, who knows that if he's running anywhere near his teammate, that McLaren have to start thinking big picture. He now changes that completely by leading this Grand Prix.
That could be move of the season. That was extraordinary from Piastri on his teammate, round the outside, low downforce, low grip, and he's into the race lead.
Big gravel there between the two Haas cars as they scrabble all over the road, and that's Hülkenberg losing positions and dropping down the order. Magnussen gets by, Gasly gets by.
This gets very, very tight for George Russell then. He gets a good launch, but the McLarens lock out that inside path. Piastri then, he squeezes wide, and that is super tight there for Russell. Here's the sensational move, late on the brakes from Piastri, so close but fair between the two McLarens, and it's just a beautiful move from Piastri. No sign of team orders, quite clearly, for McLaren, and it cost Norris another position. The big lurid slide. Through goes Leclerc.
This is Hülkenberg, contact with Daniel Ricciardo, then he's going to scrape across the gravel, through goes Kevin Magnussen, and that put the dust on the racing line. It's a 5-second time penalty for Daniel Ricciardo for forcing another car off the track. This is going to be Hülkenberg trying a late send and making contact as a result. That is pure frustration. We go on board with the German driver, trying to scrub off the speed and hitting Yuki Tsunoda.
Never on from there.
Here's the move for Sergio Perez. He got a horrible amount of dirty air coming through the parabolica, sent him wide through that corner. But even with that, he's able to move ahead into the braking zone and take 7th place. And George Russell has gone from chasing 3rd position, trying to turn it into 2nd position, going long at the first corner of the racetrack, and he's tumbled down to 8th position. Kevin Magnussen fights his way by. He's got past Daniel Ricciardo at the Rettifilo chicane, the first one on the racetrack.
Lando suggests we do box to overtake on Leclerc, box to overtake.
So the call comes out. Oh, he's hit the marker coming into the pits, and I think he got away with it, but was he over the pit lane speed limit?
Well, we'll find out pretty soon, but that's a lack of concentration or a drop in concentration for Lando. It was a late call from the team. Let's see if it works out.
In comes Charles Leclerc trying to cover off that pit stop for McLaren. Also in Lewis Hamilton. And he's powering through, he's getting ahead. There he is, told you he was ahead, we caught it in the end. Lando Norris leaps up to what will become a net second place in the race. This is Kevin Magnussen trying to pull off another overtake, and this time wasn't as special as the move at the first chicane. Contact with Pierre Gasly.
Yep, on that dusty inside line, locks up, and it was always going to be contact if Gasly didn't use the escape road.
Norris starting to struggle. This is when Red Bull started to have graining, around lap 15 in the stint.
This is George Russell up against Sergio Perez. Russell trying to go around the outside, and again he's having to scamper over the road at the first chicane. He knows the rules of engagement though, and he will have to give Perez the place back. He does so. Is he going to try and do it in a way that gives him an opportunity to attack once again? Race control can sometimes be a bit sniffy about that if they don't feel you gave back the advantage, and Russell stays behind. He's on the charge though at the moment, trying to take Perez. This is Lando Norris. Now we're heading to the second chicane, in fact. On board with the driver who was second and having to go to the correct side of the bollards and rejoin. So it is a two-stopper. Unlike previous years, he will get the rubber first. And Lando Norris being held for a moment there, 3.3 seconds.
Magnussen back in the wars, this time with Alex Albon.
Consequential move that for Kevin Magnussen, up 4 places from where he started the Grand Prix. He hasn't scored a point here in a decade at Monza, and he gets by Alex Albon, who had fresher tyres on the car.
On the canvas.
Oh my word, George Russell trying to scrub off the speed from 200 miles per hour. Was eventually given the space by Sergio Perez and then deliberately ran it deep into the first turn to make a point, I believe. He's going to go wheel to wheel with Sergio Perez once again battling over 8th position. Outside line for Perez. Can Russell keep a wheel in there? And it's good speed for that Mercedes. Through goes George Russell and he's up to 8th. We cut to Oscar Piastri in the pits. McLaren have dealt with the car, have put on a new set of hard tyres. Charles Leclerc takes the lead of the Grand Prix.
I don't think this is working out well at all for McLaren. Norris is barely quicker than Leclerc and Sainz right now, tucked in behind Verstappen. It's not working for them, and that's a huge risk. Pitting Piastri under no pressure in the race lead, it's a huge risk because they've just handed Ferrari right now a 1-2, and they can just see if they can make these hard tyres go to the end. Oscar's got to unleash some serious pace to go and catch them.
Norris going for it. Going past, and that is a fairly efficient move. I don't think Verstappen can come back into turn number 1. By the time that we get to the second chicane, there might be an opportunity. McLaren need to put the hammer down now as Norris gets ahead of his rival for the championship. The Ferrari clearly doesn't have the grip. We don't see many passes for position into Ascari. It might be about to change. Oscar Piastri fights his way through to second place. He's cleared one Ferrari. The next one is denying him the top step for the second time in his career. Lando Norris got super close to Carlos Sainz, not in the right part of the racetrack. It is going to be third position for Lando Norris, who started this race on pole. He held the lead into turn number 1, but his teammate got by into the second chicane, and since then Piastri has been the lead McLaren.
He's bringing it right now. He's only 0.2 off his best lap of the race, Charles Leclerc. There's not a huge sign of degradation for him. And Piastri on the last lap was only half a second quicker. And he is right now doing everything right for a victory for Ferrari at Monza.
These are magical moments at Monza. This did not seem possible when Charles Leclerc started 4th on the grid, but it will be a season of home victories for Charles Leclerc. The man from Monaco is the man for Monza. The Tifosi are roaring him home, and for the second time in his career, Charles Leclerc is the winner of the Italian Grand Prix for Ferrari. He's won the race by 2.6 seconds for his 7th career victory, and it's one to savour.
What a drive, what a driver. And Ferrari, this was a team a couple of years ago, couldn't get a strategy right all season. They were throwing races away, and now they are team reformed. And what a moment for Charles Leclerc.
And Formula One goes racing on the streets. Good reaction time for our pole sitter. Charles Leclerc has the lead in the turn number 1. Oscar Piastri is second. There was a lock-up for Sergio Perez, but he wasn't able to take third place away. How brave is he feeling into turn 2? There's your answer. Up to third position for Sergio Perez. Sainz falls down to 4th. It's a good getaway for Sergio Perez. Charles Leclerc has the lead, and then we're side by side further back.
And Verstappen made a place on George Russell as well. Russell trying to come back into turn 3, but he's too far back. Didn't have the fronts warmed up, and both Red Bulls are gaining places.
This is Lance Stroll. He was in the middle of the pack at the time. There's the contact. They were close into 3, they were close into 4, and then eventually, by the time they got to 5, contact.
Sonoda, close the door on me.
Lance Stroll has a puncher. He was running close to Yuki Tsunoda earlier in the lap.
And Norris has gained 2 places. We saw him behind Daniel Ricciardo. He's now past Ricciardo and Hülkenberg.
Lando Norris trying to gain another place. Yuki Tsunoda is in 11th. That is Hülkenberg trying to go around the outside. And now Lando Norris, who started this Grand Prix in 15th, finds himself up 3 places. But that was all caused by the puncher for Lance Stroll, and they bunched up as a result. Got to make moves quickly. Lando Norris trying to undo the damage of qualifying in his first Q1 exit. He's got Yuki Tsunoda off the racing line, can't pass him into turn number 1. What about turn number 2? Lando Norris needs this, and he's got it. He moves up now to 11th place. On board with Lando Norris trying to make another pass, and he's going to get it done on the brakes. Bearman wise enough to know that his race is with other cars, and it's another position gain. Norris now up 5 places.
Lando, can you do anything to hold Perez up in the middle sector without hurting yourself?
Yeah, for how long?
This lap.
That is Lando Norris trying to protect his teammate's second place at the moment from a hard-charging Sergio Perez. So you have to do it in the middle sector, because if you try to do it on the straight, you'll just get past slam dunk. That's going to happen anyway, though, isn't it?
Holding me.
Yeah, we see that.
And now Piastri pits. So they've had to use Norris as an emergency. Slow down Perez, please, because we've not covered him off when we should have done.
You're looking at the visor cam for Sergio Perez, a master of these streets, and he's trying to stand on the podium minimum again today. Who's on the exit of the corner, though? It's Oscar Piastri with track position, and Perez had the tyre advantage, but Norris played the team game, and Piastri stays ahead for the time being.
Piastri is coming, and he's going to get the DRS right about now. There's the overspeed.
Here's the chance for Oscar Piastri. How brave is he feeling on the brakes? It's a dive bomb move. It's a change of lead. Extraordinary stuff from the Australian. Charles Leclerc fights back, but he can't take it back. Oscar Piastri on this set of tyres has come alive, and he's first in the race. He's trying to break the toe. This Grand Prix has gone electric, and Piastri still has the lead as they exit turn 3.
Absolute beauty of a move for the lead once again from Oscar Piastri. Last week it was outside, this week it's inside, and Leclerc thought he was too far back. Piastri thought otherwise, smoked it in on the inside, and he's through into the race lead, but Leclerc's well within DRS range.
At the moment, Lando Norris is hanging on to it and defending heavily up against Max Verstappen.
Well, it's worth more to Norris to defend from Verstappen than it is to defend from Sainz.
Oh, he had to get out of the throttle. The top 2 in the World Championship nearly came to blows again.
Oh yeah, brakes are not working.
It's a scary one, turn 15. You come over that crest and the barrier greets you very quickly if you don't stop the car well enough.
He is an unflappable character, Oscar Piastri. He always has been. He's trying to win his second Grand Prix today, but Charles Leclerc has something to say about it. The door was closed in Charles Leclerc's face. That's the closest he's been since he lost the lead. Piastri on the defensive. Wonderful battling for the win here in Baku. It is game on for the lead of the Grand Prix. That gap is going to come down and down with every metre that they run to turn number 1. We're into DRS range. Are we going to have another change for the lead? Charles Leclerc wants that inside line. He will not be given it, and there's no room to go the long way round. Not this time, but how about into turn 2? Chop across from Piastri. Now it really is gloves off. Piastri accelerating from a part of the racetrack that he didn't want to be in. And yet he's still got the lead of that Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc in the wheel tracks, having to think about the risk versus reward, and the top 3 in the Grand Prix are now separated by 0.8 of a second. On board with George Russell, diving to the inside, and Russell gets ahead. It's that inside line that's the grippiest. It's the inside line that gives George Russell P6. I wondered how far they could take Lando Norris through this Grand Prix. The answer is lap 38. They've taken it as far as they could. Look at these two in the land of fire, driving the matches. This is amazing. Can Max Verstappen keep behind his rival for the championship, or is Lando Norris going to gain points up against the Red Bull driver? There is the answer. Powering through and taking points out of the championship lead against all expectations. Lando Norris moves up to 6th position. Kicking up the dust in the late evening sun. Who will be second going into turn number 1? Perez is powering through. Perez has got them late on the brakes. Leclerc refuses to give it up. And can Carlos Sainz fight by? Yes! Wow, what a move! It was nearly second for Perez, but it's Carlos Sainz who gets by, and this one's not over yet. We're heading into the wall! At high speed, Sainz and Perez make a collision at high speed. Perez is out. He's out of the Grand Prix, and on the penultimate lap of the race, that's the moment that wins the Grand Prix for Oscar Piastri.
First of all, Perez attacking Leclerc, and this was deep defence from Charles Leclerc, who got down the inside and just forces Perez to check up a little bit. Now Sainz comes through and he's attacking Leclerc, but he gets wide on his teammate and he can't turn in. He loses a load of front grip. It allows Perez to come back through. They're side by side. It's so needless, probably particularly on Perez, who's got a clearer view and has space to just move to the left-hand side.
What the is he doing, man? What the is he crazy or what? Idiot.
What happened there? Are you okay? Yeah, but I don't get it.
The Oscar goes to the top step of the podium. Oscar Piastri wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it will be a sequel to celebrate. The Australian is a Grand Prix winner for the 2nd time.
And what a day for McLaren. All the fallout from Monza, how they lost the race. This time they've won it. The genius of Piastri has won the race, but with a Red Bull and a Ferrari crashing right at the end, they lead the Constructors' Championship, and suddenly by a solid margin.
That is a Grand Prix with all the elements of a classic. Two drivers daring themselves to the limit of what is possible at the head of motorsport's pinnacle. Moves on the edge, eventually contact between rivals. Norris upending expectations to take 3 points out of the lead of Max Verstappen. And the Singapore Grand Prix is underway. Good reaction time for Lando Norris, who will hold the lead down to the 90 metres to turn number 1. Good start for Lewis Hamilton, but Max Verstappen edged him out. Off the road in the background goes Fernando Alonso, who now rejoins along with Charles Leclerc. Did they keep the right-hand side of the bollard? Otherwise, race control will have a look. Top 3, top 4 as they were. Upper place on the opening lap goes Nico Hülkenberg, who is running in 5th position, but Lando Norris got the launch that he needed. Can he keep it all the way across the line on lap 1 for the first time in Formula 1 as Piastri tries to dive to the inside, and he takes back that place that he lost off the line.
It was a good launch from Norris this time. Verstappen couldn't get the traction down. And look at Hamilton, has the better start of the top 3. It's not enough, but he tries to go racing with Verstappen momentarily on the outside, cannot make it through. Russell and Piastri were very, very close as well, which gave Hülkenberg the door to come past the McLaren. And that was Hülkenberg briefly up into 5th place. We're going to get a nice shot of it now, looking back from George Russell starting 4th.
That's a nice angle, isn't it? You see the decision of the cars behind. Not as dusty on that inside line as maybe could be expected. And then look how dusty it is offline, though, as that Aston uses the escape road, followed by the Ferrari. As you see Oscar get that place back down in the braking zone. So he'll be relieved to have cleared that Haas so early.
Albon's got an issue.
Yeah. We go on board with Alex Albon, who wasn't happy at the start of the Grand Prix. Dropped back from where he had a chance to contend for points, and now it looks like it's going to be another difficult day for the Thai driver.
And that's Alex Albon out of the Singapore Grand Prix. He is the first retirement.
Front wing damage, maybe front wing damage.
Well, it's been a dream Grand Prix so far for Lando Norris, but you're still pushing all the way here and on an old tyre that's not in perfect condition. Maybe front wing damage was the call on the radio for the race leader. Here we go, key moment on board with Lando Norris. This could have changed the outcome of our winner today. This was back on lap 29. Lock up, and he brushes the barrier. That was so close to the end of his Grand Prix.
Wow, wow, wow. And it shows how quickly things can change. Looking like a just, stroke it home dominant position, and then that under rotation in the front axle in a corner where there's no runoff.
Right, let's inspect what Lando Norris has got at the front. High pressure pit stop for McLaren. They're trying to tick off the things that might deny them victory, because the pace of the car with the driver that you're looking at has been superb, and they'll be glad to be back into the Grand Prix. That is late on the brakes, a position change for Max Verstappen. He lost third on pit exit, but those are fresh hard tyres, and he moves past Charles Leclerc. So this is a high pressure stop. They scrub off the speed, the team go to work, stabilising the car. The new Pirellis fitted say goodbye to those mediums, and now can the McLaren man with a 2.2 second pit stop get out ahead of Lewis Hamilton? There goes one Mercedes, that's George Russell. Here comes the second one. It's going to be tight, but it's going to be track position for the 7-time world champion, and Oscar Piastri will have to go on the attack in the remaining laps of this race.
Will he defend the inside, forcing Piastri around the outside in the brakes?
He does go around the outside. That fresher rubber put to brilliant use, and Oscar Piastri clears the Mercedes at the first attempt. Alonso soaring left, soaring right, trying to keep the Ferrari behind, but this time Charles Leclerc is able to get ahead. Entertaining battle between these two, but Charles Leclerc moves on by.
Piastri's close. We've got DRS again, and he's really close. Look at this shot. Nibble of some curb, little slide at the rear. This is going to be a big chance.
Now this is where he got Lewis Hamilton a couple of laps ago. Will he be forced to go the long way round again? He is, but he pulls it off once more. Russell hung in there, but Piastri gets past the second Mercedes, up to third position. This is on board with George Russell as Piastri went by.
I love the sparks in the face of the Hunter. And, well, George, we don't see it from the angle. He tried to hang in there. There wasn't much room for his front wing as they ran side by side through the apex. Beautifully judged overtake.
This is on board with Daniel Ricciardo heading through turn 10, and Esteban Ocon elbows his way by.
It's easy to forget. Well, so does Magnussen. Whoa. Don't see too many coming through there, sneaking past. Norris, oh, did he tap the wall? Was that a Russell moment? Remember, Norris did this on the final. Oh, my word.
What is going on? Here's Charles Leclerc, we're on board, we were, as the Ferrari driver goes through and up to 5th position. And he will now try and close down that 8-second gap as he gets past Lewis Hamilton, and Charles Leclerc has gone from 9th on the grid to 5th in the race.
So this is the replay. Will this be the moment where brushes out? Well, if that was the moment, it was the tiniest of touches.
Well, you think how lucky so many other drivers have been, because K-Mag is not the only driver to be brushing that wall. In fact, be a rare driver that hasn't brushed a wall around this circuit today.
Yeah, that angle actually, it was a bit more obvious, the contact.
Let's see, is this Russell brushing the wall? Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a sloppy one from George. Just exiting, trying to get that steering wheel straight, coax the rear tyres back, and literally just drives towards the barriers there on the outside.
And there is Kevin Magnussen, who finds himself being pushed out of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris can stop hearing about his starts and start enjoying his finishes for the 3rd time in Formula One. Lando Norris takes the checkered flag, a dominant drive complete. He has taken points out of Max Verstappen, who will come home in 2nd place. Qualifying crucial yesterday, but the margin comes down once again, and over the line comes Max Verstappen to claim 2nd position, and then a further 20 back. It will be this man, Oscar Piastri, who will find himself on the rostrum once again this year as he completes the final 2 corners, and Piastri will claim his 7th podium finish of the season across the line. 1-3 for McLaren.
Well, mate, good job.
Yeah, lovely job. Amazing car weekend. Thank you very much, everyone. One of many more. Let's keep pushing.
A third Grand Prix victory in Formula One for Lando Norris, who beats Max Verstappen by just under 21 seconds. Oscar Piastri completes the podium. George Russell had an entertaining battle and beat Charles Leclerc to 4th place. It means in the Drivers' Championship, the gap has come down between Verstappen and Norris to 52 points, as McLaren extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship.
And the US Grand Prix is underway. Max Verstappen's going to give himself an opportunity into turn number 1, but Lando Norris is chopping across. There's the late lunge that Max Verstappen was looking for, but he sends Lando Norris wide, and through goes the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. First and second battling each other, and they open the door for the driver in the scarlet car. He roars through, up 3 places to take the lead of this one, past his teammate, past the top 2 in the battle for the World Championship. Verstappen is in 2nd, Sainz is in 3rd, and Norris, our pole sitter, is down to P4.
How many times have we seen those two go wheel to wheel in a corner and have it go a little bit wrong for one or both? It was a great jump off the line from Leclerc anyway. I think he cleared Sainz, and then taking advantage of that opportunity presented by Verstappen, pushing Norris all the way out as we see them jockeying for position now out of turn 11 down this long back straight. Look at Lewis Hamilton already up a bunch of spots.
Lewis Hamilton is up 5 places in 12th position. Carlos Sainz, does he go super brave? The answer is yes, and now it's Verstappen off the road. He's been barged out of the way. Sainz feathers back the throttle because he knows he can't overtake him, having caused that action, but now at his favourite opportunity of all of them around the circuit, he's tried to go by to turn 15, all the while knowing that he can't do it too quickly because Verstappen would be complaining. All actions start to this one in Austin. Lando Norris got a decent launch, but we wondered whether Max Verstappen was going to make that lunge come what may. Here was the answer.
I mean, you never really have to wonder with Max, do you? He's going for it, but it was that strong start from Leclerc that got him on the inside of Carlos going into turn 1, 4th to 1st in 1 corner.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly pushed me out. He had no intent to make the corner. Even he ran off the track, so I just had to avoid crashing into him or him crashing into me, but yeah.
And that was the original yellow flag. Ocon getting spun around there. The Williams just had Hamilton making a move up the inside. Albon getting into the side of Ocon, and around he goes. Yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, big lockup!
Off the road goes Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton out of the US Grand Prix.
Well, let's quickly look here at what happened to Lewis Hamilton.
We're heading to turn 19 of the circuit. Let's listen in.
Almost identical to what happened to George Russell. Doesn't make it to the barriers because you're going much slower in the race.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Max Verstappen's gone with his old racing rival, slightly slow through turn 20. Is there an opportunity for Verstappen to do what he did on the opening lap and dive to the inside? It was a little bit of understeer through turn 20, and it means that Charles Leclerc wasn't vulnerable through there. He maintains the lead into turn number 1. It's Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and Lando Norris in 4th place. This is on board with Liam Lawson, the driver who currently occupies 12th position.
Not being bullied by Fernando Alonso in the slightest.
My word, what commitment that is from Liam Lawson. Oh, spin there. Round goes Zhou Guanyu, and he was in a great position, running higher than he has done for a long time in Formula One, but he finds himself spinning at the first turn.
Liam Lawson, Fernando Alonso back at it again, down into turn 12.
And the two that were arguing yesterday, continuing the conversation, this time on the racetrack, and Lawson powers ahead, not intimidated by a 2-time world champion, and he's up to 11th place. 5-second penalty has been awarded to George Russell for forcing another driver, Valtteri Bottas to be exact, off the road.
So, George, we got a 5-second penalty for forcing Valtteri off the track.
What? Into the pits comes the Ferrari driver to say goodbye to the medium tyres. Ferrari deliver a sub 3-second stop.
Big defensive move
And looking for the inside, finding the inside, Franco Colapinto on the hard tyre, waiting for the last possible moment to lunge to the inside of Fernando Alonso. Alonso on the medium, Colapinto climbing to the points. That's another highlight moment for the driver who is just in his 4th start in Formula One when it comes to Grand Prix racing. The World Championship leader is into the pits for a high-pressure pit stop. Carlos Sainz is rounding the 20th and final corner of the racetrack. It's under 3 seconds, but it is surely going to be track position for the Scarlet Ferrari that goes past the start-finish line. And by going to the rubber earlier for this moment of the race, it's advantage Carlos. Here's Liam Lawson, who's finding himself now in 10th position because he's got past Pierre Gasly. And the man who has 6 Grand Prix to shine in Formula One improves to the point on those fresh medium tyres. How brave can he be in the braking zone of turn 12? This is the best opportunity he's had since lap number 1 to take the place. He puts the car on the outside line, tries to duck back through. It's not done yet. Verstappen knew it, held on to the inside line, and now off the racing line that he wants to be. There's an opportunity. The 2 contenders again, separated by hardly anything. Traction race could favour the McLaren. Still, it's side by side or very close to it, but still, it's Verstappen ahead with 5 laps to go. Max Verstappen on the defensive, Lando Norris on the attack, Lando Norris going through on the brakes, or can Verstappen hang on to it? He keeps his foot in, they both go off the road. Norris moves ahead for the first time since lap number 1, but he did so with all 4 wheels off the road. That one surely will not count. He will surely have to give the place back.
Is the argument that Max forced him off the road, though?
Overtook me outside the track.
Very matter of fact from Verstappen. I'm sure Lando's going to say, hey, he forced me off the track. We've seen both of those called already. It'll be interesting to see which way the FIA looks at this and the stewards want to address it.
I can't imagine McLaren will let the risk of a penalty hang over Lando Norris's head.
I think goes ahead of the apex. Let me know if you think otherwise.
They're still defending. McLaren are going to risk the penalty. They're still attacking each other. McLaren are risking a 5-second penalty. They've elected to keep track position. Did Lando Norris get ahead on the braking zone? Was he forced off the road? We go on board with Lando Norris. Had an opportunity, thought about the inside line. There was a Red Bull in the way, laid on the brakes. You knew Verstappen was going to go as deep as possible, and leaving the track and gaining an advantage is under investigation for that moment. Lando Norris has a penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. He is 3.3 seconds ahead of Verstappen. It will not be enough. It was all about Max with the sprint. Lando took the pole. Lando's got a penalty. Carlos was the lead Ferrari on the grid. But Sunday is all about Charles. Another masterclass from Ferrari's favourite son. Charles Leclerc wins the US Grand Prix.
And that's my boy. Another win. Let's go.
I guess I got a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, they gave you 5 seconds just at the end there for leaving the track, gaining an advantage.
Oh yeah, well then I should have just gone back behind him, shouldn't I?
It's all about this man out front though. Charles Leclerc, a Grand Prix winner for the 3rd time this season. It was a great battle between the top 2 in the World Championship, but it was resolved in Max Verstappen's favour. 354 points to his name, extending that advantage over Lando Norris, who's on 297. It is still McLaren out front, 40 points ahead of Red Bull Racing, with Ferrari closing in. The battle towards turn 1 begins right now. We leave the line for the Mexican Grand Prix, and it's a good reaction time for Max Verstappen. He's got the inside line, he's got the momentum, he's surely going to get the lead. And now Lando Norris is going to try and power past Carlos Sainz as well. Verstappen has the inside line and the opportunity. How brave will Carlos Sainz be? An immediate spin into the barriers for the V-carb. Off the road goes Carlos Sainz to maintain the lead, and that will be an immediate intervention. It was hard into the Armco. It was a big moment into the barriers for Yuki Tsunoda. He was the driver involved there, and Carlos Sainz feels the need to give the place back to Max Verstappen, having jumped over the road. But it's Verstappen, then Sainz, then Norris, Leclerc. Hamilton got past Russell.
It is an ambitious attempt from Tsunoda. There was barely any room there, but in the end, it's an unlucky one for Albon and for Tsunoda, who end up in a heap. I don't think there was much Albon could do. Squeezed by Gasly. I don't blame Gasly for that either. Gasly doesn't know that there's a very opportunistic driver on the outside of the driver that's on the outside of him.
That contact between Tsunoda, Albon and Gasly was reviewed by race control. It was noted, no further investigation needed. They called it a racing incident.
Fastest lap for Sainz, who's responded then. He's really close.
Is he going to go for the late braking move? He is! That's the lead for Carlos Sainz, and he leaves turn 2 with the lead. Can he keep it by 3? Max Verstappen trying to apply the power. There will be another DRS zone, which will take the Ferrari further away. First opportunity offered up for Carlos Sainz, and he took it with both hands.
Verstappen's close out of turn 3. Norris is really close behind Max as well. Just so impressed with Sainz's ability on the brakes. Can Norris do the same?
This is brave from Lando Norris, trying to go around the outside. Max Verstappen barges his rival off the road, and the contentious debate of position between the top 2 drivers in the World Championship continues. From Austin to Mexico City, they collide this time. Verstappen throwing it to the inside. They're both off. Extraordinary. Elbows out, brawling between the 2 of them, and Charles Leclerc takes advantage to go up to 2nd position.
Norris is ahead coming into the corner, but Max is good at having the shorter line and releasing the brake at the moment, so they are neck and neck. But let's have a look once again at this part, because now we're on the short burst up towards turn 7. Honestly, that's a bit of a crazy one. To send in a lunge on that corner with no hope of making the exit, it's a hopeless lunge.
It's a 10-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for forcing another driver off the track. Another 10-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Let's see how aggressive the 2 Mercedes go, wheel-to-wheel, defensive shape thrown by Lewis Hamilton. Russell has the speed. Can he claim the place? George Russell sweeps by, outside line becomes the inside line, becomes 5th position as the Mercedes went wheel-to-wheel, and Russell gets ahead. Alonso going deep into the pit box and retiring. That is not the way he wanted to celebrate 400 Grand Prix weekends, but Fernando Alonso with an issue. Now, turn 4 is an opportunity for Perez. We're seeing so much overtaking. That was a car's width, but only just. And now into another one of the stadium sections. They've made contact, and Lawson stays ahead. Moment of brinkmanship is the damage for Perez.
What the is this idiot doing? Is he okay?
Turn 4 is turning into a real overtaking opportunity today compared to what we normally see. Lance Stroll now, the Canadian, trying that outside line again. Is he able to sweep by this time to turn the outside line to the inside? Perez doesn't want to give him any room, and once again it's close to contact at the same corner. This is a long, long wait. Someone will be counting to 20, and then the signal will be given to the crew. There it is. And Verstappen serving 2 penalties, one for wheel banging at turn 4, one for going off the track and gaining an advantage at turn number 8. As Piastri tries to take the place from Pierre Gasly, and Pierre Gasly is not interested in battling the McLaren one bit at all. Up to 10th goes Piastri. A reminder though, Colapinto still needs to stop. This is Oscar Piastri going late on the brakes, looking for the move up against Hülkenberg, and he's able to make a tidy pass. Piastri improves up to 8th position, and that is now 9 places up from where he started the Grand Prix. Magnussen on for his best result in Formula 1 since 2022. He is having the time of his life out there. Oh, big moment off the road, and that's a huge moment of consequence off the road because it opens the door. Lando Norris is through to 2nd place, and Charles Leclerc is lucky that he didn't clatter into the Tech Pro.
The car control on this, though, snaking his way onto the dirt. Norris is through. Leclerc was desperate for the traction because look how close Norris was coming out of here. Bit of wheel spin. How the Ferrari has any wheels left on it.
Look, this is going to be millimetres for Charles Leclerc and clobbering the barrier. He gets on the power, he loses the car. Lando Norris is through to 2nd place. Well, George Russell has hung on lap after lap after lap to 4th position, but is that grip about to loosen? The 7-time world champion and 2-time winner here gets a face full of sparks, goes around the outside and improves to fourth place. The defence ends at turn number 1 and Hamilton's 10 laps of hard work are rewarded. He's now the lead Mercedes in the Grand Prix. Franco Colapinto, Liam Lawson, and contact between the Williams and the New Zealander.
Yeah, that might be debris at turn 12.
I guess he's the same idiot that crashed again.
We'll watch the highlights later.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
It will be only his 4th win in Formula One. He said pole yesterday was bittersweet because it gave him the feeling that Ferrari might be in a fight for a world championship and he won't be there to use it. That realization ignited a fire today. He knows the road back to the front might be long and windy with Williams, but listen to this. The sight and the sound of this crowd acclaiming their winner. Carlos Sainz comes out of the final corner for the final time. Carlos Sainz wins the Mexico City Grand Prix. A fine way to take a 4th career victory. It will be a 10-point swing in the Drivers' World Championship after Lando Norris finishes in 2nd and Charles Leclerc is setting purple sectors, rapid sectors, to give Ferrari a 3rd place and a bonus point in the Formula One World Championship battle for constructors that looks like it's going to be fought between Ferrari and McLaren all the way to Abu Dhabi. Your podium completed by Charles Leclerc with the fastest lap of the race and the point that goes with it.
Yes, this is masterclass, Carlos. Dominant weekend, un mastino. Good job.
Yes, yes.
Make a good weekend, Carlos.
Thank you. Oh, this feels good. Forza Ferrari. Gracias, Mexico.
Well, sometimes in Formula One, the most complex of sports, it can be about so much. And you just got the feeling that Carlos Sainz was driving with desire. 4 Grand Prix remain, 2 sprint races, and this 2024 season will not relent. Action all the way from lights out to the waving of the checkered flag. Lance Stroll finds himself off the road on the formation lap, and he has got himself into difficulty at turn number 4. I think we're going to need an aborted start here because he's stuck in the gravel, and for the 2nd year in a row, a car finds themselves out on the formation lap. We're down to 70 laps for the Grand Prix. The start is aborted, a 2nd formation lap now in progress.
Colapinto was also parked in the wrong grid slot.
Yeah, all sorts of procedures have been breached here, Max. So should not have started.
Yeah, you have to wait for a green light.
Lando Norris noted for a starting procedure infringement. Did Lando begin the 2nd formation lap before the green lights were illuminated? The Sao Paulo Grand Prix is underway from the line. Good reaction time for George Russell. The lead for George Russell. The Mercedes man gets by. Esteban Ocon forces his way past the 2 V-Cubs, or at least he's trying to. Yuki Tsunoda hangs on to 3rd position as Lewis Hamilton is all over the curb. Here is Oscar Piastri toughing it out with Fernando Alonso. Alonso in the green Aston Martin, and now you've got Piastri moving out of the wheel tracks. They're on the intermediate tyres. They're looking for a way by. This is to turn number 4. This is a chance for Fernando Alonso. Wide moment now for Liam Lawson. Allows Alonso to keep the place on the way in, but Piastri kept it pinned on the way out, and he's able to go past the 2-time world champion.
Now side by side, the Sauber on the Haas. Ollie Behrman trying to hold on that position.
And round goes Checo. Sergio Perez spins round the Red Bull, keeps the engine going, and he will rejoin. Norris again cannot convert into leading lap 1 of the contest. And through the spray, having a go at Lewis Hamilton, fighting his way through and taking 10th place. The man on the charge, the championship leader on the attack. Max Verstappen up to P10. Let's have a look at Oliver Behrman. He got a penalty, 10-second time penalty for causing a collision.
Ollie, we have a 10-second penalty for the collision with Colapinto.
Why? He didn't even lose any time.
Max Verstappen looking to make another move up against Pierre Gasly, and Verstappen comfortably takes 9th position. And that was a replay of Max Verstappen getting past Fernando Alonso. He Here we go with Max Verstappen in another league right now. Wasn't even a contest. The man showing us why he's a 3-time world champion. Max Verstappen hasn't won since the Spanish Grand Prix, and there won't be a contest there. That's the junior team not fighting the senior team. Another position gained. Lawson knows who he wants to join next year, and he doesn't fight it.
Piastri, I believe, on Lawson.
So yeah, this was the spin round for Liam Lawson from Oscar Piastri, and he got a 10-second penalty for this. Hulkenberg has spun. I can see it out of the commentary box window. There he is as the rain hammers down. And Hulkenberg, usually so reliable when the rain has gone off. Can the leaders make it through? It's getting right on the limit. This is all about keeping the car pointing in the right direction. The virtual safety car is out to neutralize the race. Control-Alt-Delete, and we go again.
All right. well done.
George Russell cannot cope with the car on the circuit any longer. The top two felt the need to come into the pits and take on new tyres, and Russell gets out ahead. Esteban Ocon rolls the dice. He's hoping now for a full stoppage with these conditions.
Look at the water on the racetrack. They've absolutely got to be contemplating calling this one, which would be devastating for Russell and Norris.
And look at the plumes of spray. Look at Lando Norris going through. It's barely raceable out there, but the British driver gets past his countryman. That is a crucial move to move up to 4th position. And the safety car is finally deployed to neutralize the race. Big crash into the wall for Franco Colapinto. Colapinto finds the barriers. It is a red flag. The race is interrupted with Esteban Ocon, the leader, but that is how easy it is. And look at the damage it did. Confirmation that Hulkenberg received outside assistance, which is why he was shown the black flag. That flag is to disqualify a driver from the race. Esteban Ocon takes us back to racing conditions, and there's a good opportunity further back in the pack for a pass. Side-by-side moves further back, but the top 5 are in the same order. Charles Leclerc got up to P6. Lawson completing the point scorers at the moment, and off the road goes Lando Norris. Lando Norris, can he stay ahead of George Russell? They go into turn number 5, a moment of massive consequence, and who's going to get the inside line into the high-speed corner? Norris has to back out of it. Round the outside to take the place goes George Russell. There's different risk levels being taken, and there's the evidence off the road into the tarmac runoff for Oliver Behrman, who nudges the barriers. Can he escape from there to keep his race going? But you could see some drivers were cautious, some were attacking, and for Behrman, that's the result.
The tires on Lando Norris had 6. Everybody had 6. They all changed during that red flag. Oh, and we see the Ferrari going around.
Into the wall. Carlos Sainz can't keep it on the road, and he spins into the barrier to bring out the safety car once again.
And just immediately rear lockup into 8. That was a big hit.
Ocon leaving it late, but Ocon leaving the field behind. They're very tightly bunched up in the background. There's a big opportunity for Charles Leclerc. There's a big opportunity for George Russell, but a better one for Max Verstappen, who finds himself taking the lead as Lando Norris has gone off the road. The championship pendulum swings in one corner. Piastri gets past Norris, who drops down to 7th position as Verstappen goes from 17th on the grid to the lead in Brazil.
As Hamilton defending now against Liam Lawson at the top part of the racetrack, and now Lawson coming back on the inside into turn 8.
Can he find his way past Hamilton? Hamilton's deep. Hamilton's nearly off. Alonso is off as well and gaining another place.
You see the command now from McLaren to swap positions. That was expected. They didn't wait too long, which is the right thing to do now. Lando's got to be head down, attacking Russell.
And that's Russell up to 4th. And Russell is able to get past Charles Leclerc.
Don't expect that to be an issue. Russell didn't have to lift, didn't have to go off track to avoid the Ferrari, so no harm, no foul there.
In the Brazilian rain, the Dutchman has delivered a defining drive. He climbs the hill back to Grand Prix victory. Max Verstappen wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in 2024. 17th on the grid to the win, and punching the air with delight is Esteban Ocon, who takes his 4th career podium, and he will be joined by his teammate for his 5th career podium. And for the first time in 11 years, Team Enstone have both cars on the podium. A defining win for the World Championship that leaves him with a 62-point lead, his first Grand Prix victory since back in June, and it was worth the wait, roaring through the field in some style. If Max beats Lando tonight, he's champion of the world. Here are the lights. We're underway in Las Vegas and racing to turn number 1 with George Russell holding the lead. The battle is between Gasly and Sainz, and they open the door for Charles Leclerc to go from 4th, potentially to 2nd. There's no grip offline. Ferrari versus Ferrari, and around the outside to take P2 goes the man 4th on the grid. Charles Leclerc roars up to 2nd. George Russell holds the lead. Down goes Sainz, down goes Gasly. Verstappen is still ahead of Lando Norris, having left the line, but it's Russell P1.
It was very close behind as well with Norris. There's Yuki Tsunoda in there with Oscar Piastri as well. But crucial for Ferrari, they've got ahead of Gasly, and that might allow a bit of a buffer back to the main contenders behind. Verstappen stuck behind Gasly for now.
It reminds me a little bit of Montreal, the middle part of the lap, as Charles Leclerc goes for the move.
Oh, there was always going to be an opportunity for multiple overtakes there. Russell defends P1, but Gasly could not defend P4. It's game on at the front of the field. We roar through the 17th and final corner of the racetrack. Look at this scene between Mercedes and Ferrari, separated by hardly anything. There's no grip around the outside, surely. And George Russell stays ahead, but he's under massive pressure from the Scarlet Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton fighting his way past the McLaren, or at least trying to. Terrific pictures at enormous speed. The Australian driver on the left-hand side, as out front, Carlos Sainz has fought his way up to 2nd position. Charles Leclerc has gone from contending for the lead of this Grand Prix to losing 2nd position, and a man from the front row who lost 2nd at the start has reclaimed it. Wow, it's a case of keeping the tyres in the window. If you fall out, you chew through them quickly. And having looked like he was going to take the lead of the Grand Prix a couple of laps ago, Charles Leclerc is now going to tumble off the podium. Through goes the championship leader, Max Verstappen, up to 3rd. One Ferrari moves up to 2nd, one drops down to 4th. It's Mercedes ahead of Ferrari, ahead of Red Bull. Now the podium contenders, still 4 in the battle for the win. Norris gets past Gasly. He has moved up to 5th position. It's Russell, then Sainz, then Verstappen. Well, we had a slightly mixed up grid because of qualifying in very low conditions. It's still only 17 degrees track temperature out there, and Hamilton's making use of these conditions. Charles Leclerc has been called in to the pits. Lewis Hamilton is gaining another place, 10th on the grid to 7th in the Grand Prix at the moment.
This is such a pleasure to ride on board with Verstappen, and when you're sitting in that cockpit, he's going to blast past Sainz here. This is going to be a slam dunk move when he opens the DRS, and Sainz just has to wait in all the apexes to actually rotate the car.
Interesting comparison between the straight line speed of the Ferrari without DRS. Took a while for Verstappen to get by. Sainz will be pitting, he's got no tyres left. Lewis Hamilton has claimed 4th position.
Low power, low power.
Everything's looking okay for us. We hit the limiter.
It's an expiring power unit in the back of his Alpine, and after being one of the stars of the qualifying hour, the man who started 3rd on the grid comes into the pits to retire.
Carlos Sainz sweeping past Sergio Perez up to 3rd place. Perez yet to stop.
This is more important though, this is a straight fight. That's Lewis Hamilton late on the brakes. That's Lewis Hamilton past Lando Norris, and that is for 6th position. We are reaching our point for the leaders to make their 2nd stop, and Sainz is being told to swap positions. That's one thing to issue the instruction, might be another thing to let both cars by. How does he do this? Through goes Leclerc. That was well driven from Carlos Sainz. What a tough position he was put in. Look, Charles Leclerc goes through. Sainz hangs on to 4th, but only surely for a few metres. Does he peel into the pits? He does, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Synchronised swimming. He's gone deep. He's gone on, and he's cut the line as he does so. That was a strange one. On board with Lewis Hamilton, and Sainz just carries straight on.
Now he pits, and that's going to cost Sainz a lot.
What happened? We're not ready. Wake up, guys, come on.
The team have obviously said, stay out, and so he's reacted to the team. That is a major mistake for Ferrari.
And now Hamilton is well up the road, 3 seconds up the road as Sainz finally gets back onto the track.
Charles Leclerc has been called to the pits from second place, so this is now the battle for P2. Lewis Hamilton's got the speed. Look at the speed he has got, 216 miles per hour, and he moves up to third. That will become second, and it will shake out to be a Mercedes 1-2. No contest between the two greats, Verstappen and Hamilton. Now, one Ferrari with cold tyres, one Ferrari with fired up tyres, one Ferrari with a fired up driver, and Sainz will get the inside line and fourth position as he goes past Charles Leclerc. These two have been passing and repassing all day. Oh, Perez trying to go past two of them in one corner and doing so. It's been a terrible season, those are his words, but he absolutely roared by there. 2 for the price of 1 to get past Lawson and Magnussen with one of the moves of the Grand Prix so far.
Brave on the brakes, and he probably didn't expect both places to be up for opportunity, and then manages somehow to find his way through without contact.
DRS open for the rapid Ferraris. Can Verstappen do anything about it? We know he's going to fight it, but can he fight it? Here we go on the brakes for Carlos Sainz to get by. And Verstappen could not defend when it came to the braking. One Ferrari goes through. Hülkenberg trying to go past up to 8th position to take a point away from his Japanese rival. Crucial for Haas to be best of the rest if they want to claim 6th position. Next car to lap for George Russell is Liam Lawson, then Lance Stroll. Then you get to a battle to the inside, and claiming the position is Charles Leclerc. The defence for the man who will win the title in a few laps' time is over for the Ferraris. Both Sainz and Leclerc go through. Out of the penultimate corner, he's left the entire field behind. He'll convert his pole position to victory. The British driver will look up and see the checkered flag first. He punches the air as George Russell wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix. The 3rd time in Formula One he's taken the checkered flag. It's second place for Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz will complete the podium, but further back, the Dutch driver will retain his crown. Max Verstappen is a 4-time Formula One world champion. Max Verstappen is the champion of 2024, and after a mid-season spent in limitation, he was burdened until the brilliance of Brazil. He now has the title in his grasp once again. In 2024, Max Verstappen would not be moved.
And that is 4 in a row, Max. 4 in a row, congratulations.
Oh my God, man, what a season. 4 times. Thank you guys, thank you to everyone. I mean, it was a little bit more difficult than last year, but we pulled through and we gave it all. Thank you so much, guys.
The day that Verstappen soars to 4 is Las Vegas under the lights after the brilliance in Brazil. Just needed a 5th place and to beat his nearest rival. The driver who currently has a car 3rd in the Constructors' Championship has taken the driver's crown again. Final car in place means we get the green flag at the back. Here come the lights in Losail. And the Qatar Grand Prix is underway. George Russell launches off the line. He'll have to chop across Max Verstappen, who's got good momentum. He's got the inside line. He's got the lead of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris fighting on the inside as well. Lando's going past the pair of them. How did he do that? He didn't do that because Verstappen managed to get his elbows out. Our pole sitter falls to 3rd. It's Verstappen and Norris at the head of the field, with Max Verstappen going wheel to wheel with his rival for the title early this year. But it's P2 on the grid. That penalty avenged immediately as Verstappen gains a place. Russell loses 2 positions. Norris gains a place as well, and off into the background of one of the Haas's, surely of Kevin Magnussen. Ocon and Colapinto stranded at turn 1, and they are out at the first turn.
Ocon's going to dive round the outside at the first corner. And Hulk's just got absolutely no grip, so he's already locked up the right front. He's got Alex Albon just ahead, and he's nervous about hitting the Williams. Then he's having to turn, and that causes the spin. Let's have a look. So he's on the brakes. There's Albon. Oh, he's got no grip on that hard tyre.
Round goes Albon, further on lap 1.
Massively hit by Stroll.
Yeah, copy that.
I knew he was going to do it, I could tell.
There's a 10-second time penalty for Lance Stroll for causing a collision.
I think that's a racing incident in my eyes.
The incident involving Lewis Hamilton for a potential false start is under investigation.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
So he's rolling as the lights go out. That's going to be a slam dunk, I'm fairly sure.
The green flag flies at Losail International once again, and Piastri is very close to Leclerc. That seems to be the closest one. George Russell's also got a run on Lando Norris. Let's see whether the moves are going to change. They are debating 4th place, and they stay as they were into turn 1.
Piastri's past Leclerc. Leclerc understeered at the final corner, just couldn't get through, but he dives back on the inside.
And off the road in the background we go with Liam Lawson. And so Liam Lawson is heading off the road to tumble down the order. It's a 10-second time penalty for Liam Lawson for causing a collision at the first turn. And this is the overtake for Kevin Magnussen. Yuki says go the long way round, and Kevin Magnussen is going to.
Oh, fruity stuff from K-Mag. He's forced wide, keeps his foot in over the gravel, and then with a bit of gravel, jumps back up the inside. It's a lovely pass.
No, from what we can see, Verstappen's tyres similar to ours. Russell behind, slightly worse than ours.
Lovely move around the outside, and Yuki Tsunoda offering that inside move. Pierre Gasly going for the grippy racing line and taking the place. And once again, Yuki Tsunoda trying to shut the door. And if it's straight line speed problems that Fernando Alonso has, he's got plenty of grip to go around the outside again. And first Magnussen, then Gasly, and now Fernando Alonso go the long way round to take the place away from Yuki. Russell gets a new set of Pirelli tyres, and it's not quick. It wasn't quick on the front right. It wasn't quick on the front rear.
And I think he's going to come out now behind these guys, where without that slow stop, he would have slotted out in front of them. So was that
Albon?
Was that the Haas?
It was either the Williams or the Haas.
They've both been whacked in the Grand Prix, so it could have been either.
Check if you lifted for the yellow. There was a yellow in the middle of the straight.
Yeah, there was. We'll have a look. Make sure he lifted.
Let's listen in then, as he's going to blast past this.
Check the board.
Lando did not lift, folks.
I hope you report that then.
And then that mirror has been hit. Has it done any damage? I wouldn't expect too much damage. That said, that looks like a lot of debris from below Hamilton's
puncture for Lewis Hamilton off the road.
Well, it coincides with all those shards of carbon fibre being deposited all over the start-finish straight as Bottas creamed through that
Another one this time for Carlos Sainz. The mirror on the racing line, and Carlos Sainz has a puncture. 2 cars on 1 lap. So Max Verstappen has headed the race since lap number 1, took the lead at the start. Lando Norris nearly jumped from 3rd to 1st, but Verstappen had the inside line for turn number 2.
Hamilton speeding 100%. He just brake tested me again. I locked both my fronts.
There is a drive-through penalty for Lewis Hamilton for speeding in the pit lane. Perez has dropped down. That's not a transponder issue. Perez is no longer in the points. We are racing again in Losail. Perfect restart for Lando Norris.
Yeah, terrible restart for Max Verstappen based on his previous ones. He's under pressure.
Side by side we go for the Grand Prix victory. Verstappen versus Norris in the turn 1, and they'll both be going deep. Verstappen hangs on to it. They went wheel to wheel again, and Verstappen hangs on to first place. Piastri gave it everything to get past Charles Leclerc. He couldn't get there. Verstappen maintains the lead. There's still moves going on. They're still swapping it over. Can Leclerc hang on to it? He can. Piastri's still in P4. You've got Russell in 5th. Under pressure from Carlos Sainz. Verstappen elbows out once again. Gasly gets past Sainz. He's up to 6th position. This is Sergio Perez. Let's listen in.
His hard tyres not warming up. You could hear the rev spike as he went for it. I think that was driver error.
That's Hulkenberg dropping the car, spinning into the gravel. It was a great sprint race for him. Ever since we went to the Grand Prix format, it's not been his weekend. It's a 10-second stop-go penalty for Lando Norris for failing to slow under yellow flags. That is effectively a 35-second penalty for Lando Norris.
That's out of the points, given how many laps there's going to be left in this Grand Prix.
Kevin Magnussen. Oh, he's not going to go around the outside. He was barged out of the way before. And that was a look at how Alex Albon and him went racing. These two, gloves off stuff.
And this is even better news for Zhou, who's sitting up the road in 8th place.
Here we go again between Albon and Magnussen. That is a roar around the outside. What a great move from a man heading out of Formula One in a week's time.
Nice one, Kev.
Every point counts for McLaren still, so even though they're going to be outraged with what's happened, they're going to really need that extra point. They'll be happy with Gasly's job as well, keeping Sainz at bay still for 5th and 6th place.
Lando Norris massively fighting and getting past Valtteri Bottas. Crucially, that gets him 1 point for 10th and 1 bonus point for fastest lap if things stay the way they are. The Dutch driver will see the checkered flag first, and Max Verstappen cruises over the line to win his 9th Grand Prix of the year. Max Verstappen wins the Qatar Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc comes home in 2nd place. Oscar Piastri completes the podium, and we will see you next week for a title fight between McLaren and Ferrari. And welcome back to the top 10, Zhou Guanyu and Sauber. They've finally scored in 2024. There were spins, there were overtakes, there were penalties, and there was victory for the world champion once again. Max Verstappen taking a big glug, celebrating, and it has been an illuminating kind of night. It is time to answer the final question of the season. Who will we call the champion constructor of the world? And the season finale is underway. Good launch off the line for the two McLarens. Car stalling on the grid, dropping down there. It's Yuki Tsunoda on a crash at turn 1. Contact, massive contact. Oscar Piastri making contact with the Red Bull as they flash through. It's Lando Norris with the lead. Then Carlos Sainz up to 3rd goes Pierre Gasly. In 4th goes George Russell. But a dramatic moment as Piastri and Verstappen come together.
Yeah, Max Verstappen, brilliant getaway off the line. Made quick work of Carlos Sainz, and then rather than taking the cautious approach into turn 1, he sent it. I don't think that Piastri knew he was coming.
Not sure he did, as we see a battle now. It's one of the Haas. That's Magnussen trying to go by Perez up the inside into 6.
And he gets the move done. Brave on the brakes in his final start in Formula 1. And round he goes. Perez spins. A wild opening lap of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, so Verstappen's made short work of Sainz, who's a bit tardy, and this is where the surprise comes. He sends it and realises that Oscar has given him a bit of space, but just the momentum of that Red Bull was always going to drift wide, and the contact was definitely made Red Bull to McLaren. And we now know that Verstappen's given a 10-second penalty for this contact.
This was on the first lap, super late braking move from Magnussen, and then the contact between Bottas and Perez is how Perez went round. Perez would then lose drive from the car and park up. Bottas has been penalised with a 10-second time penalty for that moment.
Well, this is on board with Oscar Piastri as he tries to find his way past the Williams.
Oh, big contact, and how did that not rip the front wing off?
Penalty there for Piastri, causing a collision, so his day going from bad to worse with that.
That was a late send from Charles Leclerc, and Kevin Magnussen saw it coming, opened up the steering, got him back on the exit, but that Ferrari is roaring on by, and Charles Leclerc has gone from the back row of the grid up to 7th position as Ferrari continue to fight for this constructors' title. Leclerc will be believing he can quickly clear the Aston Martin, and Fernando Alonso is outside of DRS for Hülkenberg. It means he doesn't get it, but Charles Leclerc did. The Ferrari screams by, and Charles Leclerc has gone from 19th on the grid to 6th position in the Grand Prix. Lando Norris is being told, and is managing his tyres at the moment, as we see Max Verstappen getting to the inside.
And it's the same order for the Haas and the Ferrari, but Verstappen gets past the green Aston Martin, and on the exit of the corner, the order changes up to 5th place. This is some attacking drive from Charles Leclerc as Hamilton gets past Lawson, and now 3 moves into that corner that could be defining for later on.
This isn't really working out for Leclerc now, being stuck behind Gasly. We saw as he makes the move now down into turn 6, DRS, nothing Gasly can do on those older tires.
The car dropped down, was sent, and the front left was not tight.
Yeah, it didn't look right, certainly when the car hit the ground. And that's kind of where the driver's looking. You're looking a little bit out to the left-hand side, out into the pit lane or the fast lane there, so he would have noticed that right away. Had that been the right front, maybe not. I guess Gasly doesn't have DRS, so it's going to be a little bit easier than what we saw before. And yeah, he doesn't defend. After how many laps, he had to try it around the outside and look at the back of that Alpine. I was surprised he didn't just go for it, but obviously it worked out there.
And hearing that we're cutting to Kevin Magnussen, debris on the circuit. So there's a spin for Kevin Magnussen that we caught late, and a part of his car has gone, and there's a puncher for Valtteri Bottas in what could be his final Grand Prix in Formula One. Lock up for Valtteri Bottas. Oh my word, huge lock up, and contact between the Sauber and the Haas.
Yep, on the inside, yeah, just no front grip. We heard earlier in the Grand Prix, I think it was Lewis Hamilton talking, or was it Max Verstappen saying, just couldn't break into the corners. As you get those front tyres not quite working.
Oh, isn't that just great?
2 drivers looking at their last Grand Prix start, to have it end like that is really unfortunate for both.
Ferrari making progress from where they were last year, where Mercedes beat them to the punch. Mercedes was 2nd last year, Ferrari were 3rd. Looks like they're going to upgrade, but not to the position they want to be. Talking of upgrades, Max Verstappen easily by Fernando Alonso, now finds himself recovering up to 8th. Late on the brakes for Lewis Hamilton. He'll be enjoying this feeling. He fights it, getting the power on as he gets past, and he moves up to 6th position, past Nico Hülkenberg. Lap 46 of 58, we're coming to the end of an extraordinary season with 7 different winners.
As the Red Bull easily slides past the Alpine there, up into the 6th position.
Might have to wait until he gets to a... Whoa! He lost the air on the front wing, and Piastri gathered it together, getting too close to the back of the V-car.
Well, every day is a school day, and he'll just have learnt that and banked it away for the future.
And let's see, with the help of DRS, whether he can reverse what happened to him 1 lap ago. No, can't go for the overall speed, but he feels he's got the confidence to run to the outside. Better grip, does he have the room? That's a great way to fire yourself by up into 11th place. And this is an easy pass to break Williams' hearts. Piastri recovers to the points, and Albon's chance of that first point score since Baku disappears. As Norris pushes on through turn 13 and 14, Hamilton will take the battle to turn number 9 on the last lap. But this is the moment that McLaren dreamed of. Lando Norris wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. McLaren are world champions of 2024. They win the Constructors' title for the first time since 1998. Around the outside goes Lewis Hamilton, in the left-hand side of your screen, and he's roared around the outside to take 4th away from George Russell. What a move! In his last drive for Mercedes, he was never going to accept finishing behind his teammate. Carlos Sainz has come home in 2nd, completing the podium and climbing 16 places will be Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton, up 12, completes his attacking stint with Mercedes. After a decade in the doldrums, a season to remember for one of Formula One's most famous constructors.
We did it, mate. We did it. World champions. Well done.
Papaya on top. Incredible. Well done, everyone. So proud of you all. Thank you so much. It's been a special year. Next year is going to be my year too.
84 wins, 78 pole positions, and 153 podiums. A standout stint in Formula One like no other. Hamilton and Mercedes sign off in style. And the top 2 teams in the World Championship, it's like times of old. Ferrari and McLaren. Another title for the famous team, restored to the top of the Formula One World Championship. And McLaren, the top team in the world for the first time since 1998, the first time in 26 years. And the party, as told by our winner today, will go long, long, long into the night.